is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
You say what? You say what on earth are these guys doing on a Sunday joining us here talking all things sports? Well, it's a special Hatfield and Young cast. Yes, you say cast. What is he talking about? Well, you know, the Mannings have the Manning cast, and we have the Hatfield and Young cast for this special Labor Day weekend edition. There it is on the screen, Ed. Oh, we got covered on a screen. There you go. Today, Notre Dame, Miami getting ready to kick off on ABC. Ed, as people know, is a diehard Notre Dame fan, but throughout this 3.5, 4 hour, it could be longer than that, Ed, because we're contractually on until the game ends. This could be till 2 a.m. if they play 6, 7 overtimes. We're going to spend this entire time interacting with you, talking everything football and sports. We are glad. What are you shaking your head for? No. You don't have to go to school just yet. Not yet.
It's not overtime. Notre Dame 33, Miami 17. It'll be done quick. Okay. Calm it down. I'm a little nervous.
Uh-oh. He's so nervous, ladies and gents. I think his computer
a little nervous. Fire back in there. And Miami front.
Uh-oh. Ed, your computer's freezing. We're having some technical issues early on, right out of the chute. This is not a good sign, folks. As Ed is having some technical. Are you back with us now? Your computer was freezing up.
I see you. I see me.
Okay, your computer was freezing up. Let's try take two what you were saying. We lost you for a second.
I'm just saying, you said possible overtimes. There will be none.
Okay.
33-17 Notre Dame. Everybody chime in. Give us your score. What do you think?
Ray Weaver already says 31-24.
Ray. Good job, Ray. Okay, Ray's in the right boat. Okay. Just don't fall out of it.
Don't fall out of the boat. That's right.
I'm going to put this out here early. I'm hungry as a lost cow. So I need somebody to send me, order me a pizza or something and get on the, on how do they say the DM, whatever the heck a DM means?
Chat line. Because we're streaming on YouTube, on Cova Sports TV, on Facebook, LinkedIn, IG, Twitter, X. We're all over the place.
We're all over, man.
Check out our shows on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays on the television side as well. But we're always with you. We got comments coming in left and right, and we'll have some special guests throughout this program. We're going to talk everything football from high school, college to pro. We'll sprinkle in some neat things throughout the program. We've got some special guests that are joining us, like the Manning cast does, you know, when they have like Bill Belichick and they bring on this celebrity, this person, Charles Barkley. We got some neat ones for you that are scheduled to join us tonight. We're going to hear from Dwight Vick, former Hampton Crabber, who's probably in a sad mood because Virginia Tech lost earlier to South Carolina. We've got Andy Linn slated to join us from Lafayette. We have, in addition to Andy Linn and Dwight Vick, Anthony Joffrion from Kings Fork. Might be a couple of surprises too. But Ed, we're going to get this thing started off with our first guest. Would you like to introduce who that individual is?
Well, we got one of the all-time winningest coaches in the area, if I'm not mistaken, possibly the state. Veteran that's at it every year. They opened up with a big crushing, I don't know, was it 53 Zippo against Heritage? And there he is. Gets younger every year.
He gets younger every year. Hank Sawyer and the Titans, 1-0. Always good to be 1-0. Coach, thanks for joining us tonight. How you been?
Thanks for having us. It's always good to get that first win, no matter who you're playing, you know, because so many things go wrong on the even for the great teams. So many things go wrong for the kickoff season opener. So we're fortunate and we're blessed to have to be 1-0. And I've been watching a lot of college football this weekend. I think I died and went to heaven yesterday. So many good games on.
Yeah, and it's a neat thing. We were talking just a moment ago, Ed and I, about this. That I remember, and part of the things that made me wanted to do this, we were doing our show, our 757 Saturday Sports Talk program, which, as you know, for many years you've been a part of, coming in studio on the radio side after your first state championship with all those guys like Brandon Lynch and Brandon Porkchop Moore and Jalen Holmes, who now plays for the Washington Commanders. Then you won 2 more rings, and your wife Sandra has rings as well on the girls basketball side of things. But I remember you brought in that young man who had the I always say handshake of death. Darnell Ewell, what a tremendous young man he was. He went to Notre Dame. I know he had to medically retire early, but he went to the Fighting Irish, and Ed was as happy as could be when he chose them that day. But you also have not just Darnell Ewell, a former Irish player. You had a guy you sent to Miami as well.
Yeah, Travis Williams.
Yeah, you keep in touch with both of those young men, how they're doing these days?
Yeah, both of them are working here locally. Darnell Ewell, believe it or not, is a math teacher, but I always know he was smart,
Yeah.
He got his degree from Notre Dame, and so, that's very impressive within itself. And Travis ended up he stayed at Miami a couple of years, and then he got his degree from Youngstown State. So both of them, that's the thing that I love the most. It's not so much the state championships or the wins, is the college degrees that my former players have, because they'll take you a long way.
Yeah, they really will. And Ed's we can't really get this thing going, Ed, until we give you that music you can bob your head to. There you go, Ed. It's playing now. You're excited now. But you look a little nervous. This might not be so easy tonight, Coach.
Rookie quarterback, Hank. We got a rookie quarterback out there. Miami's got a very active defensive line. It's going to be you got to love the ball and the wide receiver with Greathouse. If you can get it to those two playmakers, I'll be okay.
Now, I personally think that Maurice Freeman is going to try to establish the run and go when he has to. Just he kind of seemed like he got things down last year when he had a national championship run, and of course he threw the football around, but he also ran it. And when you can run it, you can control the clock.
Well, and I think, Hank, try to get some more football talk here real quick. You got a rookie quarterback for the most part, redshirt, I think freshman or whatever, so he's been there. You would probably put plays in him that don't have him running around, looking long, holding onto the ball. It's probably quick stuff, handoff, over the middle, a little flare out. How would you handle a rookie quarterback in a big setting like this?
I take what they give me. A lot of coaches, they want to impress the fans on how much football they know. And there's nothing wrong with throwing a trick play or two in there. But my philosophy, especially in the big games with a younger quarterback, take what they give you and don't force anything. And then, then when you get them back on their heels, then you can open up your offense.
Now, you're a Notre Dame fan too, Coach Sawyer, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I like Maurice Freeman a lot. Very classy guy. Of course, I met him when he was assistant coach. What amazes me is how many coaches that were assistants over the years that I've met that are now head coaches. And I'm just kind of blown away. And I still have some of those guys' same cell phone numbers. And sometimes I'll call them on the off season and we'll just talk football. And I may tell them, hey, what happened to me? What would you do? And just to kind of get their ideas. And those, the great coaches steal ideas from coaches all the time.
Ed's a thief. That's why he's considered a great coach. He's a big-time thief.
Once again, take what they give you.
Take what they give you, man. Whatever I can use, it's going to work. As long as I got one more point than my opponent when the horn blows, I'm happy as can be.
Well, the one thing I think Ed has going for him is Smithfield. He's got old Keith.
This is true. You got Keith, although Keith was not at their opener that they lost to Lafayette, but Ed was there. He was saying on the show yesterday, Coach, how impressed he was with the young man. And we got Coach Linn Slater to come by later, knocking tackles everywhere, linebacker, quarterback, bomb hog. And it makes me think you and Coach Linn, your old school coaches, disciplined coaches, and part of your championship teams, one of the best quarterbacks you had, Shaheem Johnson. It was a bulldog and a linebacker. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And James Miller played Rover when he played at William & Mary, and he was a quarterback. So, I mean, those tough kids, hey, use them. They understand the game, and that's pretty good. And, I was impressed with Andy's quarterback last year when I watched some film from – they were playing another team that I had to play, and I watched them, and I was very impressed with them. So just take what they give you, and those Bulldogs, those tough kids, they're going to win more football games for you than anybody.
But I'll tell you this, as Ed's going to jump back in here with it. We're looking at the numbers that your guys put up on Friday night in that 59-0 shutout of Heritage and Madrigal Clark, 85-yard kickoff return to the house just 13 seconds in. You got a 2-point conversion. Keon Johnson had 3 touchdown runs. Jeremiah Farabee found the end zone. Dominic Clinton, I know his pops played for you. Tight end got a touchdown. Latavion Hill had a couple sacks. Peyton Maddox had an interception. But he's going to tell you to keep putting that bomb up, Coach. Kevin Adams had some touchdown passes in that one, a run. He's going to tell you to throw it on fourth and whatever. Keep throwing the bomb is what he's going to ask you to do.
Yeah, they're gonna probably save that. But what happened was when they put a lot of people in the box and we was able to Majero Clark is very special. And he got one-on-one with a guy, and I'm not really sure what kind of speed he has, but I know he can catch the ball and make people miss. So, we did that, and he probably want to throw the ball every down, but he's just a kid, and sometimes you got to teach kids football as well, take what they give you. In any level, if you can run the football, you're gonna control the game the same way Florida State did yesterday. They ran that football right at Alabama, and I just like college football, and the game plan was to control the ball, and that's what Florida State did.
Yeah, so true. Ed, they're introducing the Miami Hurricanes guys. Are you booing from home here? They're showing Devin Hester. They're showing Jim Kelly. They're showing Ray Lewis. Coach Sawyer, you have to love you some Ray Lewis. That's one of the best linebackers of all time. Is he in your top 3 of all time?
Yeah, I heard him at a USA football camp in Florida a few years back, and I met him, and such a great guy. The one thing I liked about him, he was so humble. He was acting like the high school coaches were the superstars and not him. And I just love that, how he just bonded with all of us. It just made us all feel special.
Yeah, they just showed it. Ray Lewis going up by the field, got a white hat, couple chains out. Man, I almost thought that was Hank Sawyer on a leisure Saturday afternoon in the offseason. And they had Jimmy Johnson winding up the.
Yeah, I see him winding it, and he's flashing a U sign with his Miami shirt on, and I mean, I'm just glad this game's on because there used to be a very powerful game for everybody, all the fans, and I like Miami some too, especially Travis Williams did a great job for us, and he played there and he went there, and he just said it was just game day was just special, and of course Donnell. I see old Ray right there with his hat on. He's got his shades on, and he's flashing his jewelry. There were some good guys, and there's Devin Hester. So just to be in the atmosphere or just watching is just powerful. There's Jim Kelly.
Yeah. Now you're a linebacker guy. You're an old school linebacker. Real quick, before I know Ed's got some things he wants to ask you about this game and your team this year here. Ray was, just magnificent. If you were to rank your favorite or best linebackers you ever watched, obviously one's from our area and Lawrence Taylor from Lafayette High School, Dick Butkus, Ray Nitschke, Ray Lewis. I could go on a list of name of guys. Do you have a favorite or a top 2 or 3 for us?
Well, Butkus would go up in the stands and hit somebody. He controlled the fans and the game. And Ray Lewis just help you. He just had a motor within himself. And Lawrence Taylor just done some wonderful things. So I would have to go Butkus, Ray Lewis, and then Lawrence Taylor.
Not a bad list there, Ed. Not a bad list.
No, I'm glad he got one of them old schoolers, Butkus, in there because a lot of people now don't remember. But I remember that dude, and he hit anything. It didn't matter if it was his teammate with a ball, picked up a ball, whatever. And Butkus didn't play around. And go a little bit further back, a name way from the back, Ray Nitschke, Green Bay Packers.
Yes, right.
Hunter, all over the place.
Right.
You had those guys.
Butkus made running backs come up with mysterious injuries the week before they played him. They just would come up hurt because they didn't want to go through that because he would end their season.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, the guys didn't want to come out of the backfield and catch it because they knew a Butkus hit was coming. It's just the way it was. And, Ray Lewis kind of took it to a different level. And Lawrence Taylor, if we could just forget about his off-the-field things that kind of derailed his career a little bit, he was another one of the smartest players on a football field. People don't understand. Knew the game well, and again, covered sideline to sideline without any issue, straight, backwards, and he can run people down.
When Lawrence Taylor played at Lafayette was a part of the Peninsula District. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lafayette was in the Peninsula District.
Yes.
And he just dominated the Peninsula. And kids are using Lawrence Taylor's moves right now off the edge. You know, some of those same moves, they're using them off the edge to get nice sacks.
You got a score pick for us in this game, Coach?
Yeah, 21-14, Notre Dame.
Wow, okay. 21-14, Notre Dame. I'm going to make you and Ed upset here.
Oh, I knew you were picking Miami.
I actually think Miami's going to win this game. I hate to say this, but I actually picked Miami 20 and Notre Dame 16. They just showed the graphic on the screen on ABC that 6 straight season with a different quarterback. And I think people are overreacting a little bit to the loss of Cam Ward. They got in Carson Beck from Georgia, who I'm not a big fan of. But I think Miami, in a conservative type of game here, the place is rocking and rolling. I think they're going to use their defense and maybe a special teams play to ultimately win this one for them in a close one here. So, yeah, you see the scores there. Ed, your score pick again is?
I had Notre Dame, what did I say, 32-17, I think it was.
He'll change it 3 times, Coach, in between this game. You know what he does? We'll go through our score picks for the high school games. He'll say, didn't I have them 28? No. Change that. I got them 28 to 7. Yeah.
Hey,
change that.
I turn the scores into this joker, and then I lose 18 games, and I got scores that there's eraser marks on it. Now, who the heck was doing that? This joker over here was changing my scores.
Well, you got both of you guys do an awesome job trying to predict those scores with them high school games, and a lot of times you guys are correct, but that's why they play the game. They play the game because there's some kid out there, whether it's high school, college, or the pros, that's saying, I'm going to control the game.
Well, it's funny because Ed's actually ahead of me 1 right now as he got me this past week. Kempsville over Salem. I decided to go, or I had Kempsville over Salem. He had Salem at Kempsville. But it was the only game we disagreed on, which we usually have about 8 or 9 disagreements for week 1. We'll have, I'm certain, more of them. All right, ball's kicked off. Irish get it first here. I see the rain dropping down there. Canes and Irish. I got to ask you this, Coach, and Ed can chime in here too. I know you're up late watching film. I know you're crunching all the things, get ready for your game. We'll talk about who you got coming up here with the Hampton Crabbers in just a bit. But I know you love the 30 for 30s that they do on ESPN. I'm sure you've seen the Catholics versus convicts. Right. What'd you make of that? And then the 2 coaches, Lou Holtz for Notre Dame and Jimmy Johnson, who went on to coach in the pros. And Lou Holtz, people don't know this. Some people know this, I should say. He has some ties to the 757 when he coached at William & Mary. Yeah, but your thoughts of the coaches, because I'm sure you interacted with them during your days, even before as a head coach, on the recruiting trails and just that whole Catholics versus convicts rivalry from the 80s to now.
Well, Lou Holtz is a very special guy. He can motivate anybody, and that's the thing. And his whole thing was his motivational speeches. Jimmy Johnson was a different kind of fire guy, just kind of scaring the hell out of his players. So even both of those coaches, the Catholics versus the convicts, is almost like those 2 guys tried to uphold that convict Catholic thing, with their approach to the game, And Lou Holtz taught me a long time ago, you better be able to run the football. And he said if he was a high school coach, he would run some kind of option, and then he would try to play a tough defense. And so I take those things with me there. Jimmy Johnson kind of said you got to have a big play, or you got to have a player that can dominate the other player. Sometimes your players just got to be better than the other players. And that happens, and that can happen within a season. Sometimes you use strategy, and then sometimes your team just better than the other team. So I take both of those a little bit approach, but that's a part of it. Take what you give them. You got to calm down. And if you go into a game with a certain amount of plays and they're not working, you better have another group of plays that you can maybe go to or another approach because it depends on what team you're playing and what players show up for that team.
Nice play there, Coach. Jordan Faison catching it, and now a spin move by Faison after he had that 14-yard reception from the quarterback in C.J. Carr. I want to throw one more out here before Ed jumps in on your comments there, and also the Catholics versus convicts, as well as what he's watching here on this first drive. You guys here pulling for the Irish here in this matchup with Notre Dame and Miami. It's a special Hatfield and Young cast here on Cova Sports TV as we bring you everything sports related here on our channel, Cova Sports TV. Watch us on Saturdays on 757 Sports Talk. There's a neat little thing. I'm showing the live stat feed I got in front of me here, which is a play or two ahead of the actual game on your television feed. I want to know, Coach Sawyer, is it wrong of me to be sitting around my buddies when I'm watching a college or pro game and spoil what happens with the stat feed? Should I be ashamed of myself doing that?
No.
Ed's shaking his head. You said no. Okay.
No.
Okay.
You got to kind of use anything you can in this world now, especially with sports.
We'll be sitting at a restaurant. I can't say which one because they haven't sponsored the show yet, and Ed will be upset that I'm basically telling what happens before it actually happens there, as it looks like the Canes just broke up a play. 3rd and 9's coming up for the Irish here. But he does not like it when I do that. He gets very upset. Very upset.
He looking to spoil everything, Hank. This is what I got to put up week to week. People think this is a piece of cake, man. Man, it's eating like raw sauerkraut dealing with him. He's giving me stats ahead. No, he'll say this. I got a feeling. Let's bet a stake. They're going to score. And I'm like, no way. It's going good. Son of a gun, 18 seconds later, they score. And I'm like, how the hell did he know that?
Oh, yeah, he's using those stats and all, yeah. But, because you guys are at odds, but you are great friends, that's what makes the whole show so special, So it's always, everybody's got an opinion. And I think both of you guys cover everybody's opinion. Somebody's going to be for Notre Dame tonight. Somebody's going to be against them. The same way somebody's going to be for Miami, somebody be against them. If both of you guys were for the same team, things probably would mellow out. But you guys, even with your chats and your talks, you keep everybody, on edge, and I'm pretty sure some guys say, hey, way to go, Ed. Hey, way to go, Matt. So I think that's what makes the show so special. It's just like the whole state on Saturday mornings, everybody watching you guys. And then I've even text you, Matt, and say, hey, I missed the show. Where can I find it? You said, well, they ain't put it up yet. I said, well, when is it coming? Because I want to see it, So.
Well, I appreciate that. And you know what? We got it on the screen here. People can watch our 757 Sports Talk. If you miss it on Cova Sports TV, the biggest thing to do is subscribe. Hit that subscribe button on your phone, your tablet, your computer. You'll get notifications when we go live. You can find the playlist and all the things on YouTube, but it's also available on the television side with Your View and Cox, the channels shown there in Hampton Roads, Nova, Fredericksburg, and Roanoke. And our man Jack Lowe was getting on me because I was spoiling the ACC tournament. He was watching basketball at VCU. There you go, Ed. So he was a little upset at me too there. Tom Hunsberger chimed in, and he's got Notre Dame winning 24-10 as he's watching with us. But they did have to punt the football away, or do have to punt the football away after the timeout here. 11:46 to go, 4th and 9 from the Canes 42. It's scoreless, and we're joined by the 3-time state champion head football coach of the Lake Taylor Titans, Hank Sawyer, our guest here on the Hatfield and Young cast. It's like Manning and Manning with Belichick. We got Hank Sawyer, the dean of coaches, in the 757 to kick us off, Ed, as he's 1-0 off a 59-0 shutout of Heritage with the Hampton Crabbers coming to town on Friday.
Well, a good thing on Hank is we're not the Manning brothers. Thank God we're not brothers at all, because I would be getting a whooping by the parent every day, because I would have been knocking this dude's head off every day the parents weren't home. So thank God we're not brothers. That part's good. Hank, serious question. I'm watching Notre Dame, Miami. And I'm not big on that convict Catholic thing. I think they made Miami look bad using the word convict. And right. I didn't like it. It had connotation of a little bit, and I'll say it out loud because I always do, about something, race a little bit. Miami, wild, undisciplined. They got in trouble a lot off the field. Notre Dame, hands folded, praying, never get in trouble. I didn't like it.
Right.
And I just thought it cast a bad aspersion on Miami, even though they played. That was an attitude they carried on the field. I'm watching a game. I see Miami make a hit in a defensive backfield. Cornerback gets up, and he's shouting at the Notre Dame bench. Now, I got to ask Hank Sawyer, high emotional game. Football's high emotion. A lot of hitting, testosterone all over the place. Young kids. You're doing high school. You're not doing college. How do you control, to a degree, the emotion of a big game? All right, you're playing big opponent Maury, let's say, or you're in the state semi. If you lose, you're out. So we got to keep marching. How does Hank Sawyer, behind the scenes, on the bench, how do you handle those kids with that high emotion, blabbing to the other team, whatever? What's Hank do?
I tell them that we know you can't talk this game. And I got signs even in the locker room. They tell them when you go out to practice or a game, you can't talk this game. You have to play the game. And I tell them if your emotions get too high, you're not going to be able to focus on what our game plan is, what the defensive call is, what the offensive play is, because you're too emotional. And football is a team thing, and you got to, you calm down because you hurt somebody else is getting hurt by you being a loudmouth or too aggressive.
Now, do you have a deal breaker? In other words, you've been through it. You've won like crazy, all kind of players, from kids that graduate and just go into workforce, kids going to the NFL, whatever. What's your deal breaker like? Hey, coach, get him out. You tell your coordinator, hey, man, get him out. Oh, yeah. And now you flip the headset up and say, come here. What's your deal breaker to pull a kid out of a game?
Well, I just let them know I just think you're hurting the team. You got to come over here and sit with me for a little while. Let's talk and calm down. You see, because there's always a coach that is no nonsense or have to be the bad guy. And they tell I'm the bad guy, and I don't have a problem with being the bad guy. And sometimes I got to rip them up, and then assistant coach go back and build them back up. I mean, every successful program has to have that guy. Unfortunately, I'm that guy at Lake Taylor, and the buck stops with me. And I tell all the coaches, if you don't like what I said or did, you get your own team, and then your name will be in the paper. See, sometimes your name can go in the paper in a bad way, even when you win, if you just allow kids to do what they want to do. And life's not like that. Life's got to teach them a lesson. You can't blow up at your boss if you got a family, because your family you got to go home and look at your children.
I love that. I love that, Ed, because he said the buck stops here. Look at my hat. I got one that says it. The buck stops here. I went to the closet, grabbed it real fast. I had to jump over to the coffee table and past the fireplace, but I got back in time when you said that. So,
and see, Hank, that's another thing, Hank. This joker here breaks into his neighbor's house when they're out. There's a piano. He couldn't play a piano if you paid him. All right. That's in the background. And people say, oh, man, Hatfield has a great place. The young looks like he's living out of a cardboard box, because I am. Okay? And he's got a trap door underneath the coffee table behind him. Sofa that's about $19,000. This joker is got everybody hoodwinked.
Sometimes.
Hank, I want to get back into your philosophy stuff. I like it. You touched on something, and I'm in the process of interviewing coaches for Smithfield, for my staff. And one of the big things I brought up quick was, if I bring you on, and I bring coaches on as a tryout. If I got a good feel, I don't sign them. I bring them for a tryout for a couple weeks. Like a marriage. Let's see this thing works before I put a ring on it. Right. And then I'll say to them, the number one rule I have for you to me is loyalty. If you don't like what we're doing, you feel that I'm not doing a good job, we can talk about it. But if you feel you should be coaching and you're talking behind back, you got to go. Because if you don't, I'll make sure you don't get another job ever again. Because in our business, coaching business, loyalty is big. You've got to buy into what we're doing. And I'm going to pull from the assistant some things. And hearing you say that, it makes me feel good, because I know as I'm talking to these guys, I'm using stuff that veteran winners like yourself are using.
Well, Ed, 99% loyalty is disloyal, because the 1% can hurt you. The 1% can get you beat. The 1% that they disloyal will get you beat just like the other way. So, I mean, my whole I'm like you. When I interview you, you know how I am. The buck's gonna stop here. It's gonna be my way, and that's one of the reasons a lot of my assistant coaches played for me because they know exactly how I am.
Yeah, yeah. And that's big. When you can get a guy to play for you on your staff, they know your mentality. To me, that's an asset for your players because they can go to them and say, hey, man, look, before he blows up, before this thing turns around, let me tell you how to do it. That, to me, that's major. And you doing it, I notice you get a lot of your former guys come back and they do a great job for you. And then the key with our turnaround is if that loyalty's good and they always put the kids number one, I can help you get a head job. And I've had a lot of guys move up. So
exactly.
That's how we pay back.
I mean, some of the assistant coaches are around the state or whatever, they played at Lake Taylor, they played for me. And what happens is they'll use something that I taught them, and then they'll change the name of it and be successful in it. And then people tell me, man, you too old, go home. And I was like, well, if I'm too old, why people still using our stuff? We just changed the name of it. I recognize it. I have kids call me all the time. They graduate, they coach. Such and such, they did what we did. They using our stuff. And I said, well, ain't nothing wrong with that. Because if something worked, I'll steal it. My old friend Rich Morgan, I told him, I scrimmaged him his first scrimmage when he came to the 757 and was fortunate enough to beat him up pretty bad. And a couple of weeks later, I saw, well, he used some of our stuff on defense. And I said something to him. He says, you don't have a problem with it. No, I said, I'm just saying it because I'm honored that you used it. So good coaches, if you got good things, they're going to use it.
Big stop moment to go by Boubacar Traore, coach, a 6'4", 238-pound defensive end who's a sophomore. Those are your type of football players, as it may.
Oh, yeah.
Miami have to punt it away.
Yeah.
Notre Dame defense looking good. I get a little nervous about defense, but they're staying right in there. Miami got those speed guys on the outside, and they're doing a good job staying with them.
I think so, too. The reason why I picked this game 21-14 because I think both teams' defenses are good. However, first game of the year, both teams sometimes have slip-ups, on blown coverages or missed tackles and all. But I don't know who set the college schedule, but this weekend has just been amazing. And then I think everybody's even waiting for Monday night to see old Belichick, see what he does at North Carolina, just because of the name.
Yes. We talked about that with David Teal a couple weeks back. If people missed that, you can go check it out on our podcast page on Cova Sports TV. As you see the numbers showing on the screen there, the stat broadcast feed. And one of the things, too, that I want to touch on with you, Coach, we brought it up on our show a couple weeks ago as well. We played your conversation with us after your scrimmage with Nansman River and the passing of the late Billy Morrow. But it takes a village, as you well know. Your wife, you, coaches before you, like the late Burt Harrell, Billy Morrow, and then your assistants. You've had so many. I know you lost Coach Floyd a couple years back. You've had Coach Barnes with you for many years. So many familiar faces. Coach David Floyd for years. Mike Whittington, who was with you as your line coach, and your statistician guru, if you will, for years and years. You can talk about that a little bit, what it meant to have those statistical numbers and how it impacted you all. But just everything that those people, because they're members of your family, basically. They become part of your family, don't they?
Yeah, oh, yes. And like Mike Whittington, I still can call him on something. And I say, man, we're not playing Lakeland. Look at this play. How should I block it? And he'll tell me. And he'll tell me. He just made some things easier for me, stat-wise, and some knowledge that he had, and some relationships all over the state, even at the Virginia High School League. And he still helps. And, my whole philosophy, and once you're a coach at Lake Taylor, you can always come be a coach, even if you retire. Come out there to practice. Come do something. Come. And be honest with me. David Floyd came to the game the other night, and everybody else was, patting us on the back. We did this and we did that. He said, hey, we need to do this. Anthony Church, he was on the sideline down there. He said, we did this, but them defensive linemen got giving up too much time. So, once you're a coach at Lake Taylor, you're always a coach. And a couple of years ago, last year, one of the guys was selling these whistles, the same whistle he sold to Mike Vick and all. And I bought every coach that ever coached for me a whistle. John Quinlan, Mike Whittington, and I called him. I said, come over to school. I got something for you. And I gave him this golden whistles with their name, the initials, and the state championships on it. So sometimes you got to do special things just to let coaches know. hey, football's over, but I still appreciate it. The person that I'm trying to beat and get or tie is my wife. She has 4 state championships, and she don't ever let that ride that she has 4. She always said 4 is bigger than 3.
You've had so many quality people from Sean Banks and Mike James,
Yes.
your offensive coordinator. And how about that? You brought up John Quinterly, his daughter, who your wife coached for a second. And Eddie can jump in here. We got a fumble, turnover, and it looks like the Canes are going to recover inside the 30. Big hit by Mr. number 5, Keontae Scott, the senior linebacker. You guys, I might be ahead of you guys. I don't want to spoil it if I am. Apologize. But
yeah, because I'm watching a car commercial right now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
oh, really?
too.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
geez.
watching
I'm
Visa
way ahead of
commercial.
you guys. I'll have to adjust as I guess my feed's a few plays ahead. But no, going back to the point though, Janiah Quinterly with the Dallas Swings now. How about that?
Yeah, but she was my ball girl. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
If you go in the gym in the picture, the first state championship, she's sitting right there with us, and she was special. Man, even then she was smart. She would be talking to me on the field in practice about plays and stuff, and she'll say, "Run that play, it'll work." And for what a knowledgeable young lady, And I'm so proud.
Ed's still mad at me. I know you're proud to death,
No,
as you and your wife should be about JJ Quinterly, who, by the way, is teammates with Isaiah James from Princeton High School. How cool is that to have not just a pro there from our area, but they're teammates together too in the WNBA?
Yes, I mean, of course, they get homesick because I don't care where you go or who you are, whether you're a male or female. When you lead a 757, when you live here, you get a little homesick for it. So to have someone else from this area, it helps you. It helps you stay level-headed.
Have you
Yeah, I
watched
just
the one
saw
now, Ed? You just saw it? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I just saw the fun, but I'm a little nervous more because Hank mentioned about Notre Dame establishing the run. Matt showed those stats. First quarter's half over, and they have 1 yard rushing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, did it improve yet? No, 1 yard rushing.
Well, they just turned the ball over, so it's not going to improve when you turn it over. As coach, I hate to bring up a sore subject, but that was the turnaround from your scrimmage to your game that counted. Good thing to have it happen in a scrimmage, not a game, but you got to turn the ball over against Nansman in scrimmages. You didn't turn it over, I don't think, at all against Heritage, and you got 59 points from it.
Yeah, we had to clean up some things. And, it's like when I go to practice tomorrow, those poor kids, I feel sorry for them because that celebration is over. We back to square one, running, conditioning, we got to scratch where it itches at, and I can look at a film and I can stay on 3 plays the whole film session. And I hear the kids when they come out of the session say, that man is crazy. We only went over 3 plays and he saw 50 mistakes.
Hey, you football guys in the film, like I said, you ain't got nothing over the old Siskel and Ebert. You can go play after play, running back. We'll film it. I'll bring it down. Sometimes I'll bring kids in individual. Basketball, I guess, will be a little different. Football, there's so much to see. And then you've got those 3 big units of offense, defense, special teams, because you switch. The ball stops to switch on all 3. Then basketball, for a lot of you, got to go up and down. You got kids in there can't play D or they can't play offense, and the ball finds them, and they're shooting from half court. And I got to yell timeout, and then I got to substitute whatever. I would get crazy when my assistant said, "Coach, we need a timeout." I said, "No, we don't need a timeout. We need to pick a whole nother doggone team. What the hell is going on out here with all this? What am I going to do to timeout? Start yelling and then get fired?" I said, "Give me 5 more guys."
When I was at St. Paul's College coaching football, my first year, we had the 16 millimeter film, and I broke a projector. I threw the projector on the floor against the wall because the team we were playing was good. That's how mad I got.
Through the projector. Well, Ed can tell you about him breaking his hand at halftime of a game, right? And you break your don't shake your head. You did. This is a true story. Go ahead. Don't fill the audience in on it. Go ahead.
And we were up 6 points.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've been there. You just upset because the other team's pretty good, and I got to figure out a way to stop them.
Hey, Hank, that's all that is. I try to tell Matt and everybody else. When we're young, rambunctious as coaches, we get too emotional. But as experience sets in, we realize, okay, I'm not breaking another projector or whatever,
right? Because I got to pay
for it. And when I broke my hand, as we went out there, I told my assistant, I said, "Man, my hand is killing me." The next day, it was all puffed up. I had to go explain to the principal what happened. I didn't hit nobody, whatever. And you and I both know, in your situation at St. Paul, when those kids left that night, they were rolling on the ground. Coach broke a projector. He's going crazy. A young broke his hand hitting the locker. Well, what did he think? The locker didn't hit back, but it's made him back. Those kids are just laughing their butts off. You know?
Yeah. Well, when Sean Banks was playing, he reminded me, we lost the game when I was assistant coach at Granby with Hudak. We lost the game, and I thought we should have won the game because I was the defensive coordinator. I was so mad with the team, the coaches, and everybody. I walked back from Chetham Field back to Lake Taylor, and back to Lake Taylor, back to Granby. And I was so mad as I left Chetham Field, I tore my shirt off. So they were trying to figure out who was that crazy coach walking back to the school. I didn't even go into school. I lived in Hampton. Then I got my keys and I went home. And I didn't talk to anybody till that Monday when I got to school.
Goodness.
So I've come full circle.
That is something.
Yeah, it is. It's emotion. It's the emotion part of the game. And, and I tell people, I think back of some things I did when I was a younger coach. I never cussed a kid out, never put my hands on him in an illegal manner because I coach my kids the way I would want somebody to coach my own son.
Right.
And yes, you can get on them and whatever, but let's not go overboard. Right. And I know some parents will get a little crazy. Well, coach is mad. He punched the locker. He's going to punch a kid. No,
exactly.
Trust me.
Right.
The good Lord has a hand on my shoulder every time in a game. And I love the game, the kids too much. I ain't going to do something crazy. We just have as coaches, we got to mature and make changes as necessary to become better. And I think if we do, Hank, and I'll blow our horns right now, we wouldn't have lasted as long as we have had we been doing stupid things along the way.
Well, you got to figure out how to weather the storm because they're going to be storms all the time. It's funny. People say, hey, did you see the article that Matt Hatfield wrote? I said, yeah, I saw it. I said, well, he didn't lie in the article. He just told the truth. I thought he was your friend. He is my friend, but he's got a job to do. I said, he didn't tell a lie on us, I said, so I'm okay. And of course, I take that thing in positive. And that's, once again, I tell the coaches, we'll run that play when you get a head job. Since your name's not going to be in the paper, mine's going to be in the paper,
That's a good point. Well, I know I'm ahead of you guys, but you're going to like what you're seeing as they go to a commercial break up there. I don't want to spoil it here. Irish holding tough defensively to force a field goal try. Forcing a field goal try. And, apparently you did see the situation, what just transpired there. Special teams can matter. Coach, I don't know, did you watch early the Virginia Tech South Carolina game? Big punt return swung that game around, didn't it?
Yes, and the thing about special teams with the kids, some of the starters, they think it's a joke, and those games can help you win. Gerald Clark opened its touchdown, 85 yards. He helped the coaching staff. Forget we had the lead. He helped the coaching staff because the first game of the year, no matter who you play, all the coaches on edge, you want something to get you the advantage to calm you down. He runs an 85-yard touchdown. I'm going over to get a bottle of water now. I wouldn't have drank no water if we was on offense. I'd have been right there listening what the offensive coordinator calling, because I always got my 2 cents worth in it. I said, don't call that play. No, sir. I'll call this play. Even though I'm not the coordinator, I got my hands in everything. And you have to as a head coach. I don't care who you are. I was watching Kirby Smart yesterday. I was watching Florida State coach. I was watching Ohio State coach. Those guys were all over the field, they and everything. And I was like, well, I'm not crazy. I'm doing the same thing they're doing. So, let me keep doing it. It's working for them.
Well, I want to ask you because it's funny we bring this up. We've talked about so many of your former players, and we want to talk about a couple of your current guys. We touched on Madrigal Clark there for a moment, but on the matchup with Hampton coming up here with Hank Slater, the longtime head football coach of the Lake Taylor Titans, 3 state championships and a decorated career, Hall of Fame career with us here on our Hatfield and Young football cast during the Notre Dame and Miami game, which is scoreless right now. Ticking down late in the first quarter. As you saw a little while ago, we got Gary Hess from Richmond high school football voice joining us. We got Anthony Joffrion at Kings Fork. Dwight Vick's going to come on at halftime from Victory Life, former Crabber and former Virginia Tech Hokie, who's got his nephew now at Bethel and Derrick, and his cousin Michael coaching the Spartans of NSU. But, former guys like the Jalen Holmeses, the Brandon Lynches go on and on and on. Nyree Quinterly was the brother of J.J. Quinterly we talked about. And the guy that I made one of the most heads-up plays talking about special teams coach. Go back to it with us. 2014, and Ed, I don't know if you remember this, Lake Taylor won a playoff game against Monacan in which the last play of the game for the Titans trailing, they had a field goal blocked, but Marquise Poole had the presence of mind to not let them lose the game. Tell us, Coach Sawyer, about how that happened. And to this day, you've been a part of some wild games, but that one's got to be, if not at the top of the list, very high on the list.
And that was amazing because when I saw him running, I was hollering run because I do know that rule. I know that rule exists because when I was at Graham as assistant, Oscar Smith did the same thing to us and beat us. And Monica went rushing. They blocked the field goal. And they all went to the middle of the field to celebrate. And the ball landed there. Marquise Poole grabs it, and he starts running. I'm hollering run. And the Monica head coach Henderson told me, said, well, this game is under protest. I'm going to the Virginia High School League. I said, I understand, Coach, and I would do the same thing if it was me. But I'm going to take this game, and I'm going to head to the state championship.
Which is what you did
Yes.
in 2014, and you went on to win the second one of your 3 rings, beating Salem 41-16. But Ed, as long as we live, I don't know if we'll see that again in a high school game where a field goal is blocked in a playoff game. Team thinks they've lost. The kid picks up the ball, runs it in for a score. It's unreal. It's unreal.
Yes, it was unreal. And the funny thing is, in coaching, there's going to be a lot of things that happen that you as the head coach, you had nothing to do with that. That was one instance. I had nothing to do with it. It happened. The kid had great presence of mind to do that. And people still talk about that game. And I of course, those state championships, they're special for anybody that won or anybody that made it to the state championship game. It's just a special moment, And so I will always be grateful to him for that.
Hank, I got to hit on it. You talk some about it. Matt and I joke a lot of times when we have you on the Sawyer household, championship caliber husband and wife. But you have told us before the rankings in your house are pretty easy. Sandra's number 1, and you're on the honorable mention list. So
Right.
Where your bread is buttered. That dynamic, how do you feed off each other in terms of, yes, she does basketball, you do football. Do you ever really talk like in terms of working with kids, the way you're coaching kids? And I know she has the ladies, you have the guys, but how does the dynamic, and in all honesty, jokes aside, work when you talk? Do you talk coaching?
Yeah, well, when there's issues with kids and all, and we tell each other just stay with them. When they start liking the game a lot, that's when you're gonna get them to come around. But whatever you do. See, it's easy to cut a kid and put them out there on the street. You put them out on the street, and then there's a problem with the kid. So you try to keep them in the program. So then when they come to you, when they've had a good football game or a good basketball game, and they're all excited, that's your chance to get your point across. You say, oh, that's really good. But that college coach, he see that film with your attitude, and they don't like it. And that's when you get kids to start to change a little bit, to come around your side. So the more athletic they are and the more plays they make, don't miss the opportunity to put your part in. And they'll say, well, what's wrong, Coach? Well, I like the win, but I really don't like your attitude. We got to do something about that. It's the same way I tell my guys. I don't care what you do. Don't ever let your mother call me and tell me you were disrespectful, because, I love my mother to death. I'm a mama's boy. And if she tells me that, I'm going to be upset with you. And kids want to please the coach. They really do. And so, I tell the parents all the time, I'm not trying to take your place, but it really does take a whole village to raise a kid. And I'm with your son more than you are if you really look at it, because I have them at school, at practice, and you just have them at night. So let's work together to change his attitude. And I tell the parents all the time, we got to do something about the attitude. Yeah, he's a good kid. We got to do something about the attitude. And what happens is kids, they want to kind of hang out with you, whether it's hang out in your classroom, your office, or you all go somewhere to eat, and you got to tell them, hey, man, all that's good, but what you did there, that's wrong. And I use the example all the time to the kids. when you disrespect a teacher, hey, that's somebody's mother. That's somebody's grandmother. If somebody disrespect your mom, you ready to fight and blow up. And so I said, you got to figure out a way to go apologize to that teacher before we play again. All right, coach, I got you. And you just can't miss those opportunities to make those things happen.
In our remaining time with you, Coach, we thank you so much for coming on here with us in the first quarter of our initial inaugural Hatfield and Young football cast. We'll be doing this with other sports, I'm sure, too, like basketball and other football games of note here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. But tell me about it coming up. You got Hampton coming in on Friday. Really good quarterback in Marcus Chapman. You guys put up a bundle of points, 59, in fact, in your shutout of Heritage. Give me some keys to that game. I know you've broken down the film on the Crabbers, and you have had a lot of memorable matchups with the Crabbers over the years.
Well, Woodrow and I played at Hampton High a year or two. Woodrow played defensive back at North Carolina State. Of course, he was a whole lot better football player than me, but we all go way back. Now, he has something special. He has 3 kids that first time playing football from the basketball team, and they got some height and all, and it's going to be a challenge for, it's going to be a real good game, and we just got to be ready for it and try to rise to the occasion because, he's trying to get the Crabbers back to, state championship form. And I want to try to get Lake Teller back. We both had some issues with COVID with kids, and now he thinks I know he knows he's got a pretty good team. He's got a little running back that's 5'5" that can just flat out run the ball. So he has some weapons, and our kids got to come ready to play as well as his kids got to come ready to play. So I'm excited about it. I like Woodrow a lot. Very classy guy, humble guy. And I guess a lot of people don't really know for him to get that job at Hampton High is something special in him within the whole city and that whole Crabber Nation for him to get that job. Trust me.
Well, Coach, as they go to the commercial break here into the first quarter, I want to thank you so much for coming on with me and Coach Young here. And in fact, one of the Instagram followers, I can't put the comment on the screen, unfortunately, with IG, but one of the coaches enjoying it so much, he says, wants me to pass on his number to you to have you give him a call if you're cool with that. Is that all right with you?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you so much for coming on with us. All the best to you. Say hello to your wife for us as well and the Titans. You might see me on Friday night. We're going to put it up for the audience to let us know what game I should be going to. What's that?
I've been honored today. You guys have made my weekend. I thought the game was good, but just to spend some time with you and Ed and talk some football, it brings up, Ed and our philosophies are a lot. And of course, everybody likes to see people like them. And I've told you many times, Matt, thanks for all your support and things you help me. Sometimes when I have nightmares, the things that I need to get done, when I call on you, you are there to help me and as well as other coaches. And I just thank you that this program and all the programs that you two guys host, I just hope they continue to go on.
Well, thank you so much.
Hank, I appreciate it too, but you hit a nerve. You have nightmares. Hatfield helps you.
Oh,
I have nightmares because this joker somehow goes through a dream of mine, and I'm like, I wake up in sweats.
Wow. He just admitted on a live stream that's worldwide, Coach, that Ed's dreaming about me. That just tells you I'm dreaming. What can I say? What can I say? I'm dreaming. You just admitted it.
The nightmare I have, Hank, I got me a nice lady friend. We're having dinner at a quiet place, and this joker ends up being our waiter. So that's how I get the nightmares. Okay? And his pool in the pool segments. Where he's in the pool, sneaks into his other neighbor's yard, jumps in the pool when they're gone, and he has what he calls jokes. I said, you don't need to give jokes. Just have your face on the screen. That would be joke enough.
That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you. It's been an honor. I don't know who's coming after me. Well, if they have as much fun as I've had, they'll have a good night.
Yeah, we got Gary Hess is going to be our following act after you. So, yep, and then Dwight Vick at the half. So, hey, always a pleasure, my friend.
Yes.
You be well, and I'm sure we will bump into you sooner than later.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Hank.
You. That
I
is
love you.
All right, bye-bye.
You got it. That is the 3-time state champion football coach of the Lake Teller Titans, Hank Sawyer, with us here on Cova Sports TV. It's the Hatfield and Young football cast. 1 quarter in the books. Ed and Notre Dame and Miami. It's scoreless. The numbers of note, the team stats of note, 42 yards for the Irish, 83 for the Canes, but it's a defensive battle just like you and Coach Sawyer like, and we'll come back with more after this quick timeout. You're watching the Hatfield and Young Football Cast on Cova Sports.
It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and the one and only Coach Ed Young, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Cova Sports TV. From high school football and basketball to the NFL, MLB, college sports, and the NBA, if it's making headlines, they are breaking it down. Bold takes, big-time guests, and a few laughs, especially at the expense of that basketball coach, Ed Young. Catch it on Cox TV and your view, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Cova Sports TV.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis. But if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams-Deloitte, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7 right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship. And that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What do you get when you cross a snake and a dessert? A python.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we welcome you back to our special Hatfield and Young Football Cast. No, it's not a Saturday morning. It's a Sunday night on Labor Day weekend, and we've got Notre Dame and Miami scoreless. Ed's rocking the hockey jersey, drinking his water with some kind of lime or lemon in it. I don't know what that is, and we are privileged to be joined by another special guest. We had on the head football coach of the Lake Taylor Titans, and now we have on the guy that is the voice of high school football in Richmond for decades now. You can follow him on the Twitter or the X at GHessRVA, sports director at Odyssey Richmond, AM News and Sports anchor on WRVA, and veteran voice of high school football on 910 The Fin, part of the Gary and Gary show with Gary Criswell. We have Gary Hess with us. How are you, my pal?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Wait. Mike is muted. Can you guys hear me?
We can. You muted yourself for just a brief second.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm good. I can't hear myself.
Oh, okay.
I can. But I can hear you guys, and I can hear myself. I just can't hear myself in my ear. But that's no big deal.
Okay. Well, we apologize on that front. It might be something.
How you doing? How you guys doing, man? Ed, congrats on the new gig, man.
Appreciate it, Gary. Sitting out this year is killing me, so I had to jump back in it. Smithfield gave me the opportunity. I'm starting ground level, but it's fine. I feel just as excited as I did the first time I got my first varsity head job at Old Suffolk High School years ago. So I'm excited about it, grateful, blessed for it, and I'm crazy enough. Want to get back out.
You got the sickness, man.
I got it.
He's got a disease.
And it helps me too, Gary, to be honest with you, with this guy here, because you talked about, I muted myself. You don't know how many times I wish I could have a mute button on here with this joker, but they won't give it to me.
But Gary,
yeah.
I'm happy because he calls me, and also doing the Old Dominion Women's play-by-play that I do on radio. I sometimes want to get a break, because you're tired. You know that's how this goes. You're tired, especially you do morning radio. Ed's calling me up every time. Hey, where are we going tonight? Where are we going? He went to more games than I did, and you know how many games I am, and I'm certifiable. He was doubly certifiable last year.
Yeah, although I think you had the ticket on Friday night though, with the multiple screens, and so I really appreciated when we got the text that you were listening to us while watching all those other games. That was pretty great.
Well, what was neat was, as you know, the NFHS network, which kudos for. I've done a lot of working for. And by the way, your TV might be ahead of Ed's, just like mine is. Ed's going to get ready to throw something. As you put the hands up, he's getting ready to throw something at his TV. Probably his drink. As somebody has found the end zone, Malachi Tony to cap an 8-play, 70-yard drive in 2:43, as he'll get ready to say some words. We'll have to mute him in a second because we can't air some of what we're supposed to say. But, it's funny. It's sometimes the feeds can go in and out. But what was really cool is in my room now, I got this a couple years ago. I just say, hey, Alexa, play what you told me, the station letters. You can tell people I can listen to your games with the big one coming up on Friday, Maury and Verina, and it just did it for me. I just tell it to turn the volume up and down. I've got my own personal assistant, and now she's talking in the background here now, right by the piano in the fireplace. But I did say the other day, and I can't get this close enough to the computer people to hear us. I say, hey, Alexa, how old is Ed Young? And the other day it said to me, too old for me to tell you.
But still young enough for somebody to hire him as a basketball coach.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And I get this joker out of more issue problems than anybody care to know. And don't be, like I just told Hank Sawyer, don't be swayed. He's in a neighbor's house. He doesn't know how to play piano, can't light a fireplace if you gave him a match. And Alexa is not his. It's probably Siri who refuses to talk to him. Because when I asked Alexa, is Matt Hatfield going to be successful? And she says something to the effect that it does not compute, don't see it happening. So I already know.
We just have fun. I have a 5.5-year-old grandson, and he loves coming over here to ask Alexa to tell him knock-knock jokes.
Oh, then your grandson should watch our show for all the pool jokes we have. Your grandson.
Yes, he would love that.
Yes.
Yes, he would love that.
Don't encourage Gary. Don't encourage Gary. We right now have an active lawsuit against him. I brought one up with my agent. We're trying to get that Fool in the Pool segments banned because it's just scaring a lot of people.
But you know this, Gary, because, and by the way, I got to give you, I told you this in a text, and I do mean this in all sincerity. Loved because I actually, sometimes when you're watching like I do, games galore, it can all run together and you need a break or something. When I went to the bathroom break, I happened to have, it was halftime of other games too, so it kind of worked out conveniently. Your interview along with Coach Criswell with Richard McPhee. For people that don't know Richard McPhee, you can tell people about him a little bit here. Longtime high school coaching legend. And he was a blast to listen to. Just his humor, his personality, the stories. He's great. So I caught that interview you guys had while it was going on. But that's what this is all about. We're telling stories. It's so fun to do.
And it was great. So many of his former players. Yeah. So Coach McPhee was the coach at Huguenot. I believe it's 1988 until 2007, and won a couple of regional championships. Had a team that probably could have won the state championship in 1991, but they ran up against the Bethel team that had a kid named Allen Iverson that had something to say about it, and had some other really good teams too. Coached six guys that played in the NFL. Corey Holiday, David Terrell come to mind that played at Huguenot that played in the NFL. and just really build a powerhouse at Huguenot High. And they named the field after him on Friday night. And a bunch of his former players came out, and it was great. And we were joking with a couple of his former players who are now coaches in the area that he jumped at the chance to come on the air with us because he loves having a microphone and just loves being able to talk and tell stories. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. When we knew we were going to do that game and what was being done that night, I called Coach Mack and said, "Hey, can you come up with us at halftime?" And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So yeah, appreciate that. That was a lot of fun.
It was cool to listen to.
And if you check my Twitter feed at ghessrva.com, there's a link to the live video of that interview if somebody wants to go back and watch it.
Cool. It's good. I'll have to send Ed a copy of it because Ed was out trying to recruit some players. Oh, I can't say recruit. Get some players for this year at Smithfield. So there you go.
That's right.
Where am I going to get them in Smithfield? I got to go out and find. The only ones I can talk to in the farms is the cows and the pigs and all out there. I can't recruit them. It's all farmland still out there.
Well, that's where maybe there's a Jimmy Chitwood out there. You never know.
I'm hoping. I'm looking. We'll see what we can get there. But I haven't even met player number one yet. I mean, I've been only on the job for 2 weeks trying to hire staff. I'm going to be in the building as a full-time sub every day. So that's going to help be around the kids, which is important to me, and check on academics, check on behavior. And I want the teachers to see me as a teacher, not some dude that comes at 3:00 when everybody's leaving. I don't go for that. But
I think that's a great move. It really matters. By the way, the only other thing I was going to say about the Coach Mack interview was the ceremony and pregame where they named the field after him was pretty much the highlight for Huguenot on Friday night.
Yeah, it did not go well as St. Christopher's had their way, which you can touch on. They got a young man. As a matter of fact, Ed got a chance to call in the summertime. We were doing some games on a broadcast during the high school live period for the VHSL and VISAA, but a young man for St. Chris by the name of Darius Gray, lineman who's going to South Carolina. He's shaking his head now. He loves his footwork on the basketball floor. Heck of a young man.
Yep, great player. And Coach Cleland told me that this summer he gave up carbs and weighs a svelte 275 with a six-pack. He is chiseled, and you could see it on both sides, especially on the defensive side of the ball. He was pretty much wreaking havoc in the backfield for Huguenot's backfield all night long.
Yeah, I saw that youngster on the basketball court, Gary, and Matt told me, he said he's only like one of the top linemen in the country. I said, moves his feet well. I could tell he wasn't really a basketball player, but he wasn't in the way. He still can do some things. He still played defense. And when he set a screen, he set a screen. You ain't getting around.
No doubt.
Yeah, you're not getting around it. If you ran into it, you're going to need some oxygen. You're going to have to come off the court for a play or two. So he knows his role, and he plays to it. And I imagine it's a kid maybe we see play on the Sundays someday.
I think it's great, Matt, that, here in the Richmond area, the private schools up here are playing more public schools in the last 5 or 6 years than that. Yeah, you didn't see that kind of mix up in the past. And I really love the fact that is happening more now. This coming week, Benedictine's playing Matoaka. Later in the season, Trinity Episcopal is playing Glen Allen. And so, and Collegiate played Albemarle this past week. So I love seeing some of that crossover, and it just really gives you an idea. And, I think St. Christopher's proved a point that the private schools in the Richmond area play some pretty darn good football.
Yeah, no, I love it too. We had on during our show back in late July, early August, Norfolk Academy coach Steve Moniker, who has a game against Granby public school. You don't really see them too often now. You see it more often. It's more prevalent in ed sport, basketball, and even other sports. You'll see it with field hockey or lacrosse, soccer, baseball. But to see it more in football, especially in this new age and time, it's good to have. And I know that also brings up, as you're part of, because you guys have a poll. Everybody has rankings and poll. We have one in Virginia Preps, but the mingling of an area poll where you have some of these Richmond powerhouses that are publics, like your Highland Springs, your Varinas, your Dinwoody's, and then your private schools like your Trinity Episcopals, your Benedictines, and your St. Christopher's. You can never have a right or wrong answer. It's always the big dilemma. Will we play a better brand of football, which I'm sure you guys hear all the time up there?
Yeah, we hear it all the time. And then, Coaches will complain, well, the private schools shouldn't be so high. The private schools, well, we should be higher than that. And when they play each other, then we can just point to the scoreboard and say, hey, this is what you can base it on. So it's fun. The polls, we love the fact the poll that we do in conjunction with CBS 6 incorporates a bunch of the coaches in the area, and that kind of makes it different from the other polls up here in the 804. And we love the fact that the coaches get involved. I'm always interested in the perspectives of the coaches, and they're far from all being the same. Right now, except for who's number one up here, everybody seems to agree on that.
Well, what you just did, because Ed loves doing this. When I put up the top 10s on VirginiaPreps.com, he loves to, for football or basketball, he loves to tell me what I got wrong. Never what I got right. It's, as you know, people always say, oh, yeah, you messed this up, Hatfield. That's how it goes. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. Ed's going to chime in before. This was our preseason top 10s for the 6 classifications, and we have some Richmond schools incorporated in this, Gary. So I want you to give us your thoughts. And I know Ed's going to tell me, well, they already lost, Matt. You got that one wrong. So we'll let people see it, and they can also comment on the chat line. If you got a question, too, for Gary, you're welcome to do it here as we talk to you on this Sunday night, Labor Day weekend. It's 2nd and 8 now for the Miami Hurricanes to have the football just inside their own 35, 40-yard line as they tick under 12 minutes to go in the second period. Canes up 7-0 on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, much to Ed Young's chagrin here. But we'll show it to you on the screen here and zoom in for you, Gary. If you can see it, tell me when you can. We've got 6A through 3A right there for the top 10s, and there are some Richmond flavor. We put Manchester up there at number 6 in Class 6, just behind Oscar Smith, Colonial Forge, Battlefield, Madison, Lake Braddock. And, of course, a lot of this is going to change with some teams that lost and some teams that win and move up. Thomas Dale also made it in the top 10 for our state rankings at number 8. Just real quickly in Class 6, I know you haven't had a chance to see Manchester, but they've won it not that long ago when Tom Hall was coaching, and his former assistant, now the head man, Jason Harrell's got a pretty good team this year.
Landon Abernathy is a veteran quarterback, and he's got great receivers. And it's, and I don't know how good their run game is, but I do know this. Monacan maybe a little down, but they hung 83 on Monacan Thursday night. And so I think, man, I can't wait to see. We're going to learn a little bit more about Manchester this week because the Lancers are playing Glen Allen at Glen Allen, and that should be a little better measuring stick for what this Manchester Lancers team is made of. Thomas Dale in at number 8. Their defense is elite. Can they score enough points for it to make a difference? That's the question for Coach Kevin Tucker.
I know it probably drew some criticism of folks initially. We didn't have LC Bird in the top 10, won a region in 5, but they got blasted in their opener by Midlothian, who could be a surprise team. And you see Glen Allen on the screen was the last team that just missed our top 10 and 5, where Hermitage made it. You got Highland Springs there in a second. But, Ed, your thoughts quickly on 6, and you heard Gary say 83 points. How many games will it take you to score 83 with the Packers this year on the hardwood?
Probably might take about 3-4 weeks, 3-4 games to get that many points. But that second year we coming up, we're going to try to average 80 a game.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
When I look
at
it, Gary, when I look at a lot of his standings and that, I have to be careful because he is, I give him credit where it's due. And even though it's little for him, he knows teams a little bit better than me. I made the comment that I thought Manchester would be 5 and Braddock 6, but not a big deal because it's only one movement. And I wasn't sure about Thomas Dale, and I think I moved them down 1. I actually put Independence 8 and Dale 9 and North Stafford 10 is where I put them at. So I wouldn't mess with his top numbers up there. I wouldn't mess with it too much on 6A.
Well, North Stafford, by the way, real quick, almost beat Battlefield. They were up 13-0. Battlefield gets a pass interference call, end of the game to get one last play, untimed down. They get tied the game with a touchdown again, get the extra point to win it. Class 5, though, Gary, Highland Springs. People know them around the 757 all over Virginia. What Lauren Johnson has done there has been amazing. And last year was not his typical team, lost 4 games. We saw him live up there in Richmond when Morey beat him. But my goodness, were they mighty good or what against Hopewell to start things off?
And they did a bunch of it in the first quarter. 2 interceptions for touchdowns, a kick return for a touchdown. So they got all 3 phases involved in that domination of Hopewell. And Eric Bird, who had such a great season 2 years ago and was really banged up last year, looks every bit the part to be healthy and back and a dominant force in the backfield for the Springers. And I think that's probably a good spot for them, about fourth. I think we still got to find out a little bit more about what this Highland Springs team is all about. They are playing a team from North Carolina this week, and then we will see them for the first time a week from Friday when Dinwiddie comes up to play Highland Springs.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And the big game, the elephant in the room here, which we'll spend, I'm sure, a number of minutes here as it's a commercial break with this Irish and Miami game as we talk to you here on this Sunday night on Labor Day weekend in our special edition of the program. But the big game, Gary, Maury Varina. Maury's 30-game winning streak was snapped in a loss to Cardinal Gibbons down in North Carolina. Cardinal Gibbons with a quarterback who's committed to Wake Forest, but Varina really strong in its opener. And while they lost to Phoebus in the state finals, and we've drawn the ire of some Phoebus fans, 4-time state champs, unbelievable job Jeremy Blunt has done. This Varina team is loaded, isn't it?
Yeah, they're really loaded, and I can't wait to see them play. I can't wait to see this game. What incredible theater this is going to be. And I love the fact that some of these games have taken place. You know, I believe Highland Springs plays Phoebus later this year. Highland Springs has played home and home with Maury the last 2 years. So I love the fact that this game is happening. And the other thing I'll tell you is, Varina got to the championship and was right there. I'm trying to remember. I think it was 9-6 early in the fourth quarter when Caleb White, the quarterback for the Blue Devils, got hurt. And then Phoebus kind of pulled away with a couple of touchdowns. And I'm not saying Varina would have won that game. I think they might have lost 9-6 because the defenses were dominating that day. But Caleb White, wow, is he good. And they've added a couple of running backs to that program. They still have Damari Carter. They've still got Ja'Shawn Richardson at defensive tackle. Varina's loaded. I know Maury's loaded as well. They just, they have gotten to the point where they just reload. I just think this is going to be a great September matchup. It's a great advertisement for 804 and 757 football.
Yeah, and we'll tell the folks out there how they can listen to it if they're not able to make that game in person up there in the 804 coming up on Friday night with Gary Hess and Gary Criswell, our guest here on the Hatfield and Young football cast during Miami and Notre Dame. Ed's Fighting Irish trailing right now in this one 7-0 in the second quarter with 11 minutes to go. But
who else did you have from the 804 in the Division 5 top 10?
Yeah, so the only other one we had was Hermitage at number 10, which is a team that's got Andre Clark Jr., who's committed to Michigan. My goodness, I don't know how much you've been keeping up with it, Gary, on the recruiting front, but Michigan has really mined Virginia this year. They got a young man from Huguenot that you just saw in
Markel Dabney, yeah.
They got Travis Johnson from Oscar Smith. They got the 5-star from Louisa, Savion Hyder, best running back in the country, and maybe, if not the best receiver in the country, one of them in Travis Johnson from Oscar Smith. So Michigan has come into Virginia and gotten some studs.
I wonder if I don't know this. You guys might, if there's someone on that Michigan staff that has contacts in Virginia, but they have certainly done a great job of working their way down here. And that gets your attention when a kid from down here commits to Michigan. That always gets your attention. Hermitage, by the way, looked the part against Matoaka Friday night. I think it was 38-0.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Ed has no problem with my Class 5 rankings, I don't think yet, but he's about to bash Class 4. Go ahead, Ed. You got something to say and a bone to pick.
On 5, I was just trying to think when he showed me this earlier. I'm a stickler on Glen Allen for some reason. And I said, what? Glen Allen can't jump up there, maybe number 9, and we push either Salem or Hermitage to honorable mention. That's the only one I looked at. Top one that looks pretty decent. Maury, Green Run, I think Head and Shoulders. Well, I don't know about Head and Shoulders. King Fork Highland Springs, very good. Stonebridge is going to be heard from. And, of course, my old school, Nancy Rivers, got some really great athletes, quarterback going to Syracuse. So I have no problem.
Ed, let me address Glen Allen very quickly because we did the Glen Allen Prince George game Thursday night. And, it was interesting because I kind of ranked them down in our preseason poll a little bit because there were so many unknowns because I believe they had 17 senior starters last year. Malik Sexton got that job from Perry Jones and had all these seniors who had played, a lot of them entering their third season as a starter. And they were so good last year, but the quarterbacks knew. A bunch of the offensive lines knew. The running backs knew. Only one receiver is back out of the 4. The whole secondary graduated. Their 2-star inside linebackers graduated. So there was a lot of questions. But guess what? Guys that were in the program just filled those spots, and they looked really good Friday night. So I would in preseason would have ranked them down a little bit, but you're right in thinking they might want to sneak up there a little bit, and we'll find out more about them when that Glen Allen Manchester game is going to tell us more about both those teams coming up this week on Friday night.
Well, and a quick note, you're spot on right there, Gary, is Warwick's got Oscar Smith this weekend. So they're a team that if they start out 0-2 here, Bethel after that, maybe 0-3 or 1-2. If they drop a couple, it's going to allow Glen Allen to jump up because I'm with you. They're really good. I was unsure with some of the new faces. Ralphie Puccinelli at quarterback has done a nice job. And we've kind of adopted them as a team in the 7-5-7 from the 804 because you mentioned the coaches. They had Perry Jones from Oscar Smith and UVA. Now William and Mary as an assistant, and Malik Sexton played his high school ball at Churchland High in Portsmouth. So he's a local guy and carried on that tradition there that Perry Jones established.
Absolutely. And Coach Sexton, I teased him about being a trucker. And he thinks that's funny that I know Churchland's truckers. I don't know why he thinks that's so funny, but Ralphie Puccinelli came in from Benedictine. And let me tell you, he ran for 4 touchdowns, threw a touchdown pass, but more importantly, and Coach, you'll appreciate this. When you see a point guard, sometimes the stats don't tell you the story with your point guard. It's about command and control, right? And Ralphie Puccinelli looked in control. The offense ran with rhythm. For a season opener, that's an amazing thing. The offense ran with rhythm. The play calls were in rhythm, and he was in command. He was doing the maestro thing out there, and he could run and he could throw. And he is going to be teams that Glen Allen plays is going to have to be prepared for and deal with, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Well, now I will jump quick to 4A, Gary, before we come back. Phoebus, I'm sorry. I don't care what Verona has. Phoebus should have been number 1. Defending champions, 4 years in a row? Put them up there.
And this is where, in a situation like that, my philosophy is, listen, I think could Verona be better than Phoebus this year? Maybe so. I don't know. But I subscribe in a situation like this, I agree with you. And I subscribe to the Ric Flair theory. And that is, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, Phoebus is the man.
Well, and I'm going to leave there. Now, Hatfield might know some stuff that he's not divulging because he always likes to be 8 steps ahead of everybody. But I told him Phoebus, period, and we'll go from there. Now, I did put eyes on Lafayette myself. I was at the Smithfield football game Friday. I was very impressed. That team's got speed. They hit unbelievably hard. I thought I was watching Phoebus. There is no bounce off on their tackles. They will hit you and you will fly. And the quarterback impressed me. He might impress me more by being a linebacker on defense because he led the team in tackles. So that Lafayette squad and them wide receivers, they got some speed. So I don't know. I can't say a whole lot about Huguenot. So I have to keep my mouth shut. But, boy, I was extremely impressed with Lafayette.
Well, I mean, Lafayette's one of those teams that it's kind of come around here the last couple of years that they're just good every year. And that's just, what you got to be prepared for. And it doesn't surprise me in the least that they looked really good on Friday night. And I would expect them to be a team that's got to be dealt with in that classification as the season goes on.
Ed's getting ready to celebrate when he sees it, Gary. He's probably behind us on the TV because the Irish are in the red zone and getting ready to score after Jadarian Price breaks off a 30-yard run. Nice compliment to their main running back in Jeremiah Love. You got to have a 1-2 punch running the football. And I thought for sure Ed was getting ready to grill me and blast me and take me behind the woodshed, Gary, for having Dinwiddie below Huguenot. I thought he was getting ready to just tear me apart on that one, but he's letting it slide for now. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I looked at Dinwiddie too, but see, I don't want my ignorance to come through because it comes through enough, but I don't know a whole lot about Huguenot on my own. And I know Dinwiddie, one of the traditionally strong programs, usually has some decent athletes that why couldn't they be up there? But okay, it's the old question, Gary. Well, okay, who are you going to knock out of the way? I mean, you move somebody up, you got to move somebody down. So I'm
listen,
okay with it.
Huguenot was undefeated last year until they saw Verona in the second round of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Huguenot brings a lot of key guys back. And were there some issues Friday night against St. Christopher's? Yes, there were. Dinwiddie played an outmanned opponent. And here's the thing. Dinwiddie there's, you talked about the questions surrounding Glenn Allen. I think there's some, there was a question mark. One question that I know is answered is that Billy Mills is going to put the best version of Dinwiddie on the field at the beginning of the season because he's really good at what he does. But Harry Dalton was a 4-year starter, a star, a stalwart. Well, he is on the other coast playing at USC now. And how are they going to replace Harry Dalton? Well, Zion Basso accounted for 5 touchdowns Friday night against Colonial Heights, and Dinwiddie looks to just, keep right on keeping on. So, I think when the rankings are done now, Dinwiddie will probably move ahead of Huguenot because of Huguenot's loss to St. Christopher's. But I think they're both going to be teams that have to be reckoned with. That 4B playoff bracket with Varina, Dinwiddie, and Huguenot is just going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, and don't forget about even Louisa now with Hyder, who's going to Michigan.
I forgot that. Yeah. I forgot. Yes, I forgot about that. That Louisa went back down to 4
because that district. I'll say to make people upset, but I don't mind. That district's weaker than the Central District and Varina's schedule. They might get the 1 seed. Might not be the best team, but home field might have to go through a Louisa for a Varina, Dinwiddie, or a Huguenot, and that could make things even more intriguing. But that region 4B, you know it because you've covered it close, is as good as there's been. And with Dalton, with Dalton departing for Southern Cal, the one thing I have to say to Ed here, as his Irish try to score here with a key 3rd and goal play, he's getting ready to start. Hopefully not swearing on our. Oh, he'll like that though. On our show here, that schedule.
There it is.
Yeah.
So you're
Irish.
So Matt, you're ahead of me. I'm ahead of Ed. So there you go.
There you go. We'll play it so he can dance when it happens for him on his TV. But there's the fight song. Notre Dame is in the end. They're an extra point away with 5:21 to go in the first half from tying it up as they score with CJ 7-yard strike to Mikey Gilbert. 3rd and goal. Then we'll see him hopefully 12 years from now because his TV out there. Not Smithfield land, but a little behind. But Harry Dalton, I was getting ready to say.
Hey, hold on just a second. I got to say this about Notre Dame. Ed, you and I are of a certain age. I can remember in my childhood the Notre Dame, like the replay at 9:00 on Sunday mornings.
Yes.
Yes. And Lindsey Nelson and Paul Horning, and it would always be, they'd show the screen. It'd be like there was an exchange of punts, and we moved to further action. And they would, and it was just.
Man, that's how I became a Notre Dame fan. It was on in the morning, and I'm thinking, hey, playing games in the morning, and it was condensed because they would say we move further. That was his best comment. We move further in the action. So it was condensed. I never met where everybody like Hatfield got up Saturday mornings to watch cartoons, and he had cereal all over the place. I got up to watch Notre Dame football. Okay, that's how I became a fan. Lindsey Nelson and Pennsylvania was on Channel 9 WOR out of New York City.
And it was on everywhere. It was on here in Richmond. I mean, it was just, that was 9:00 Sunday morning, man. It was, that was so good. And they would show a picture of that Golden Dome. And I can hear it now. There was an exchange of punts and we moved to further action.
You hit it. You're the first one to tell me that in years. That was a good one. And like I said, that's how I got to learn Notre Dame football. He's watching Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck or whatever with cereal all over the place.
Yeah, I can remember, that I'm a child of the 70s, so I remember when Joe Montana played quarterback there. Yeah, all kinds of, I could go on and on, but I won't.
So we talked with Gary Hess here on our Hatfield and Young football cast. I was getting ready to say before you jump in there, Ed, is that Harry Dalton and the Trojans, Missouri State, they knocked out of the water. Georgia Southern at Purdue, Michigan State at Illinois, bye week, then Michigan at home. Tricky game. But, Gary, I think USC with Harry Dalton might be 6-0 when they go to South Bend on October 18th. They got a good shot of that.
They definitely have a good shot of that. We were looking at that earlier. Here's the thing. It's just Lincoln Riley sometimes has got to get out of his own way. They've got to fix that defense. But, they looked apart yesterday, but that's, that really wasn't the kind of opponent that gives you any kind of a measuring stick. But USC being relevant again, being kind of moving up into that playoff caliber conversation is good for college football.
It is, no doubt about it. Ed?
Now, Gary, what I wanted to ask you, watching this Notre Dame Miami big emotional game for the first game of the year, you saw Ohio State and Ohio State and Texas play, Florida State knocking off Alabama. You had really good teams, or at least programs have been good right off the bat. I say to myself, a guy like you, and I'm putting you on the spot, maybe couple, 2, 3 big emotional games, not so much playoffs because that takes care of itself, but some regular season big matchups that you can remember through your all your years of coach. And again, I know I'm putting you on the spot because I know you've done a million games, but it's really 2 or 3 maybe that comes out that you can remember that, hey, emotion was there, the intrigue, all the pageantry and whatever. And and you felt really excited calling that game.
Well, I'll get, it's funny because I can get into specifics, and you're correct. I could go on all night. But, I think of a couple things I'll tell you. Varina-Highland Springs is a rivalry up here that's unlike any other. I would say also the battle down in Chester between L.C. Bird and Thomas Dale. I've just done a bunch of those games over the years and then in the 90s, Bird and Huguenot with the aforementioned Coach McPhee was always a game that had just heightened. Everything was heightened. But I remember specifically, and I wish I could tell you the year. I don't know the exact year. I think it might have been 2006, maybe. It was before the expanded playoffs, and Varina's playing Highland Springs in the last game of the year. And Varina was 9-0, the best team in the area. Brandon Miner, who went to Michigan, was the star running back on that team. And they played a Highland Springs team that was coached by the guy that went to Georgia before Lauren Johnson came in. His name escapes me. And they won that game in double overtime. Varina finished 9-1 and didn't make the playoffs.
Wow.
That had to be a game.
Double overtime. Highland Springs scored walk-off fashion, and Varina just stood there stunned and did not go to the postseason. And that's the expanded playoffs that the VHSL has now is a double-edged sword. I hate the fact that teams that are 2-8 make the playoffs. I just hate that.
Agreed.
I would love it, and I've told the VHSL this. They're not going to listen to me. I think they should have the format exactly the way it is, but you have to have a 500 record to qualify, and if teams get by, so be it. That's
Ed's for years. You and him are on the same page. He's been screaming on the radio for years, and now the podcast, and that there should be a 500 record minimum requirement. And that coach, by the way, Scott Burton, right? Is it Scott Burton?
Yes, that's exactly who that was.
Okay, yep.
Yep, that was Scott Burton. That game was unbelievable because it was just, the drama was just unbelievable. And then, I'll tell you that, it's not that kind of thing, but one of my favorite days ever was 2018 when I got to call 2 804 teams win the state championship back-to-back in the same day down at Hampton University, with Highland Springs winning in 5 and then Manchester winning in 6. And it was just a great day to be a broadcaster from Richmond with those 2 teams winning the championship. So that's a couple things that really jump out at me when I think about some of the emotional. And then, of course, as an alum of Meadowbrook High School, to be able to be on the mic and call the game when Meadowbrook won the state championship in 2004, that was really cool too.
Good stuff here as we go to memory lane with Gary Hess, voice of high school football in Richmond. Here as we're almost at halftime. 2-minute warning. Do you like 2-minute warnings, guys, in college football?
You can't call it the 2-minute warning. It's the 2-minute timeout. It's not the 2-minute. And you will never hear a college announcer call it the 2-minute warning. It's the 2-minute timeout.
I know. But still, we all know it's really the 2-minute warning. But you're right. We can't technically. It's just like, what do they say now for baseball? You can't call it, Gary, these on the disabled list. It's now the IL. They changed that too. You can't call it the DL.
It's the injured list. That's right. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
he's on the DL right now. He might put me on a disabled list. So
that's one that I haven't gotten accustomed to yet. It's still there on the DL. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, but you're right now with all these politically correct terms we got to be.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's funny now.
But
go ahead, Ed.
No, I'm sorry, but let's go a little deeper in basketball. Remember, Gary, back in your day, because I know you had to run some in high school. You can't call them suicides because if you get in trouble and you say to the judge, "Well, Your Honor, I had him running suicide," so you were killing him in practice. You can't use those kind of words. You can't say for your punishment, run. No, you just say, like I do, we're going to give you some extra conditioning so I can play you more in the game. You can last longer. You have to change with the times.
You hear what he said there, Gary? He said when you go before the judge, Ed's thought this out too much when he goes in front of Your Honor, just so he doesn't have to explain.
Ed, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to be careful what you do with your hands when you're dealing with your kids at practice too, right?
Absolutely. You cannot be angry and be near a kid. You got to be step aside. And I used to have a ball in my hand in practice and I did it as a learning tool where always be ready to game because you never know where a pass is coming. Plus, I coached a lot of bad point guards who threw bad passes, so I had my kids ready. But then I stopped that after a couple of years because one of my principals said, Coach, so what do you do when you get a little upset with a kid and you go to throw him a pass and he's not really looking? He's got a pair of glasses on. You break his glasses and he gets a stitch, has to get some stitches, and you come to my office and try to explain why did you fire a 60-mile-an-hour pass to one of the kids. I said, I won't be doing it anymore. No problem. He said, okay. That's how he put it. So, you change with the times. That's all there is to it.
And it's Gary, definitely changed. No doubt about that. Go ahead, Matt.
Gary, I wanted to ask you also as a follow-up to games, and I know you're going to be mad at me after tonight. Go back in those memory banks and 4, 5, 6 kids, maybe this might be easy for you, that you really enjoyed. They were tremendous players, maybe went to the pros, that you were always saying to yourself when you knew you were broadcasting this particular game of this team, you're going to see so-and-so. Give me, and I'm not saying rank them and who's your best and who's the best you ever seen Richmond, but kids that come to your mind that were really a highlight to do their games.
Well, and I would be, the only problem with going down this road is that, some of the other kids, if they ever hear this, will be like, well, what about me? And I hate leaving guys out. But I think back, and I remember going back to the 90s, I just loved doing I go back to the 94 Patrick Henry State Championship team that had Damian Woody, who had a long career in the NFL, that had, Aaron Kinney, who went to play at Florida, played with the Tennessee Titans. But their quarterback, Daniel Derricott, was one of the most dynamic players I've ever seen. I just loved watching that team play. In Varina, I loved the Michael Robinson years at Varina. Lamont Abrams, Marcus Lewis, who's the coach there now. They just had so many dynamic players. And I love in the 3-year state championship run for LC Bird, they had a kid at middle linebacker named Rayshard Ashby who played at Virginia Tech. And I just loved watching him play because sideline to sideline, if he got to you, you were on the ground. I loved the way he played the game, and he was just such a great kid. He's one of my favorite kids that I've ever dealt with to this day. And then I love the first year of the state championship run for Highland Springs when they had Becton and Dortch and Wallace. We got to know all those kids, and Dortch and Becton especially were guys that Coach Chris and I got to know pretty well, and Pootie Carter, and just some really cool guys that were on that team. So that's a few. I could go on and on and on. I'll tell you one more that's kind of under the radar real quick, and that's Sam Rogers, who's the coach at Hanover now, who played at Virginia Tech. Sam Rogers to watch him play at Hanover High School was unbelievable. Coach, you'll love this. He's the quarterback. He breaks his wrist and has a cast on his hand, and so he can't take snaps. So instead of being out, they move him to running back because he can take handoffs and starts running the football and still plays linebacker because he wasn't going to come off the field. And he's the classic guy who is he's talented, toughest guy on the field, but he's that classic rising tide that raises all boats, makes everybody around him better. And that's what you see with the way he's coaching now at Huguenot High School as well. At Hanover.
I love those picks, Gary. I remember Ashby at LC Bird, part of David Bidwell's Skyhawks, and Rogers was as gritty as they come. All right, big 2nd and 3 in the red zone as we're under a minute to go. Before we let you run here, it looks like the Canes are going to find Pater.
Oh, my gosh.
Look at that play. Oh, Ed's going to see it and get really mad. What a catch. Carson back.
Matt, that looked like it was going to be an interception, and one hand just grabbed it.
Ooh, CJ Daniels, that's Sports Center top 10, Gary. My
gosh.
Catch. But how did you get into that? Calvin Johnson in the house, right?
And just to get a hand on it, when you watch it again, you'll see it was going to get picked off. Even if he just
hasn't watched it, he doesn't want to watch it.
Even if he just gets a hand on it to prevent the interception, that would have been great. But he somehow managed to catch that. Unbelievable.
But we also got, before we let you run here, because I want to get it out there, we got Coach E804 Breed watching on Instagram who said, don't forget about us in 2A. And I don't want to forget about them. You know what I'm talking about, Eric Harris. And we'll skip over Class 3 because it was a rough one for Hopewell. We'll see that Region 3A is not as strong with Richmond flavors.
Oh, no. TJ is going to be heard from in Class 2 this year. There's no doubt about it.
And a big one coming up, Gary, as we put it on the screen there now, you see TJ is playing we can get it back here, removed here. There we
Armstrong.
go. Armstrong coming up on Thursday, 4:45 Thursday. I know our man Will Garlick will be there. I might be there as well. I'm sure Danny Lewis might make an appearance as well. Our whole entire team of Virginia Preps will be in the house. That's going to be a great game. We got TJ 3rd and Armstrong 6th. And I'll be honest with you, that might be low, Gary. The Western teams are really good and deserve to be highly thought of. Graham, defending champ, though they lost to Bluefield of West Virginia and Glenver with a quarterback committed to Charlotte and Brody Dalyop. But either one of those two teams, I think you'd agree, TJ or Armstrong can win the state championship.
I don't think there's any doubt about it in Class 2. There's no doubt. We did that game last year when both those teams were undefeated late in the season. I think they were both 8-0. And, man, we had so much fun doing that game. And of course, TJ ended up falling in the second round of the playoffs to Kettle Run in a game that they probably should have won. And that is going to be unbelievable. I don't think I can get over there Thursday afternoon, but excited to see how that game turns out. They both tuned up with opening victories, so it's going to be great theater for sure in the city of Richmond on Thursday. And, that Glen Allen Manchester game this week we're really watching, and, of course, can't wait for Maury and Verona on Friday night.
If they want to listen to you, how can they do so? Give them the rundown.
Okay, so real quick, typically we're on Sports Radio 910 The Fan. That's our home, but they carry the Richmond Flying Squirrels, the minor league baseball team here in Richmond. And so until their season's over, we're on loan to News Radio WRVA. So if you're in town, we're not going to be on the FM signal this week. This week we'll be on 1140 AM and then at WRVA.com online, and then the Odyssey app, or just tell Alexa to play WRVA. And everything you'll get to Coach Chris and I call it. We're not on. We can't do a pregame on WRVA, so we'll be on right at 7:00 for the kickoff of Maury and Verona on Friday night. And our plan is to do Dinwiddie and Highland Springs the following Friday, and then the week after that we'll switch back over to Sports Radio 910 The Fan.
That's what I'm going to do. And people ask me why I'm not going to be there. I actually have a soccer match to call Friday morning, and actually around noontime. It's not morning. So as you know, the traffic getting from 757 to 804 could be a little impossible. Plus, I got my team with Danny and Chase and the whole gang will be there with you accompanied. But that's what I do. I did Friday. I just said, Alexa, play WRVA 1140, and voila, it was there within seconds. Didn't have to move.
I'll be headed your direction on Saturday. Okay. Not to the tunnel. We won't go to the tunnel, but we have season tickets for Christopher Newport. My son is a captain, so. Okay. We are very excited about the home opener for the Captains coming up on Saturday. So, yep, we and it's so funny because there's a ton of 804 kids that play in that program. It's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, I know that guy. So that part's fun, but it's nice after doing the work to just go and be a fan, sit in the stands, yell at the officials. So that's what I do at CNU.
Hey, Gary, when you do that, when you're sitting there doing a timeout or halftime, tune into the podcast and watch me have to strangle this guy maybe in the middle of it. So if you get a chance to do so.
I'll do that. I'll do that Saturday morning while I'm tailgating.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
And when he tries to reach for the screen, I just hit the trap door on the coffee table and I'm out.
Oh, man. Oh, well, guys, this has been a blast. Looks like we're reaching halftime, 14-7.
And we got Dwight Vick coming on to follow you. So thank you for coming on. Enjoy the game on Friday. I'm sure we'll be connecting again soon, and all the best to you.
Okay, all the best to both of you. And, Ed, congrats again. Can't wait to see how the Smithfield team does this year.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. Hey, man, it was a blast having you on, your knowledge, all your history of stuff. And, man, Gary, every time, man, I have fun when I'm around you. So let's keep this thing going.
Absolutely. Right back at you guys. Be well.
Thank you, Gary. That is the one only Gary Hess, the voice of high school football in the 804 in Richmond, Virginia. We'll take a timeout. We got more coming your way, including Dwight Vick, Vicktory Life, to talk about the tough loss for the Hokies today, but also his cousin, Michael Vick at NSU, behold the green and gold. His nephew at Bethel, Derek Fisher, he's balling out too. Dwight is slated to join us here at the break, and we might have him even mingle into the third quarter because I'm not sure one of our planned guests is going to come on, but we might have some more surprises in the second half. You'll have to stay tuned. Right now, it is a halftime score at the half. Miami 14, Notre Dame 7. Where are all you Irish fans? Where are you guys at? Where are you? Where are you? My man Hunsberger, where are you? Was it Ray Weaver picked Notre Dame? Where are you guys at? You told me, Ed, that Notre Dame was going to win.
I'm right here. It ain't going to be the high-scoring game I thought it was. We got to dig in. Miami had a heck of a catch. I've got to give them credit on that second touchdown. A heck of a catch. All right, so we're okay. We're okay. We just go in there and make those adjustments, and we got to own the second half. So I'm okay.
We'll come back with some halftime stats too, as well as.
Hey, halftime, I got to get some food. I don't know what I'm eating. Now, nobody sent me nothing. I got no Uber Eats, so I don't know what I'm going to eat.
All right. More coming your way. Stay tuned after this commercial break. You're watching the Hatfield and Young football cast during Notre Dame and Miami on Cova Sports TV.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
I'm Dr. Mark Cardelia, orthopedic surgeon and surgical director of the CHKD Sports Medicine Program. We see a lot of knee injuries in student athletes these days, and many of these are ACL tears. Parents often ask how to know when a knee injury may be serious. The most obvious symptom is severe pain or swelling in the knee joint. Your child may have heard a pop when the injury occurred. Look for signs they can't put weight on the knee around 48 hours after the injury, or if the knee feels unstable or wobbly. Those are all signs you should see a CHKD sports medicine specialist. Our sports medicine physicians, surgeons, athletic trainers, and physical therapists understand the needs of growing athletes and tailor treatment to fit each child's age and level of activity. Our goal is to accurately diagnose the problem in a timely fashion and provide the treatment that will ensure a safe return to activity. Kids want to play, and we want to help them get back in the game. To learn more, visit chkd.org. Sports medicine at CHKD. We're more than a hospital.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
And we welcome you back to the special edition. It's not Saturday mornings with Hatfield and Young at the Plex. It's rather these two bozos doing the Manning cast, our version of it, with Notre Dame, Ed School, that he roots for, trailing Miami 14-7. We now have a special guest with us, though. He is the owner and founder of Vicktory Life. You can follow him on the Twitter or the X. I'm sure he's on Facebook. He's on IG as well. Vick757 on the X, or the Twitter, as some still call it. My co-host Dwight is not on X or Twitter yet, but he just got on Instagram. So look out, ladies and gents. But we have Dwight Vick with us, the former Hampton Crabber and Virginia Tech Hokie. I'd ask how you're doing. I know you're not great with what happened earlier today with your alma mater, but we did show that highlight of your nephew balling out for the Bethel Bruins, though.
Yeah, man. I'm very happy about that. Still a lot of season left. I'm happy for Derek. He had a great season last year, but he's stronger, more confident, and he's poised for a great year. By the way, you mentioned I'm not happy. I kind of knew South Carolina was going to pull it out. I was hoping my Hokies could get it done, but they're ranked 13. I think Virginia Tech, if you're a Tech fan, you feel good about the coordinators they hired. They had a chance. I think they had Shane and those guys sweating a little bit going into the second half, late third quarter. Tech had several missed opportunities. So I tweeted earlier, I am on X. I tweeted earlier that, look for the overreaction with week one. Look for overreaction with everybody, whether you're a Maury fan or a Bethel fan, Oscar Smith, or Wahoo, or you're whatever, Patriot. Look for the overreaction, because nobody overreacts more than fans, whether they win or lose in week one. That's just the nature of the beast. Like, that's what happens. Everybody's like, we got to bench this guy. We got to fire this guy. This team's going to win the district. And it's week one. I remember when I was a youngin', Coach Ed, you appreciate this. When I was a youngin', I used to be a diehard Redskin fan. And I remember when Gibbs retired and Richie Pettibone took over. And his first win, I believe, was either over the Cowboys. It was somebody, but they won 37-16. And everybody was like, the show goes on. The Redskins are going to repeat. And they might have won 3 more games that year. So, and by the way, congrats, Coach, on getting back into coaching. You never stop, but congratulations. It's good to see you back. I'm happy about that. they're
Wait,
going to.
wait. You're happy now and you'll root for him, Dwight, except when he plays your Hampton Crabbers potentially in a Region 4A playoff game, because then you got to rock with your Crabbers and your boy Eric Brown and company to knock his socks off and blast him. You will. Be honest now. Be honest.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Listen, let me tell you something. I know I confuse some people because they see me posting all these Bethel High School stuff, and I show Phoebus love because I'm in the media, which like you guys, but I'm a crabber until God takes my last breath. So,
what is it? Crabber bread? What is the slogan?
Crabber pride. Crabber pride.
Crabber pride. Yeah.
Yeah. And no, but Smithfield, man, they got a great program. I think I saw them play. I was down there a few years ago when Patriot played them in like a showcase game, like the girls played, and I saw Smithfield played, and it's a good school. Mom used to teach there back in the day. So it's a good program, good sports program, good location, man. It'll be good.
Well, I'm hoping, Dwight, first of all, if I'm lucky enough to play Hampton in the regionals, I'll feel I did something. I think he has the team this year in the region for basketball. I know we're just starting football, but looking ahead, I think they're going to be number 1 in 4A in this area. Smithfield lost a whole lot. I'm getting late. I haven't even met player 1 yet. I got to hire a whole new staff. But like I told the interview committee, I ain't taking this job to go 500. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. I'm not a good loser. So those kids are going to have to rally around. I think we'll play a good brand of basketball that people will like to see. And I'm just trying to recreate some things from the past where I've been before. But Dwight, sitting out last year, I didn't mind retiring as a teacher, but I did not retire from coaching. They took it from me. That didn't set well with me at all. And I didn't go out the way I wanted to. And I wasn't sure I was ready to go out, period. And some things didn't manifest themselves on some other job situations that I kind of messed with. And my agent Hatfield over here was mad already on some 1 or 2 that I did not pursue or take. But I used the year wisely. I went out and watched a ton of games, broadcast with Matt and some other people.
So why he went to more games than you and I did, and that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I just really watched everything. I didn't have to worry about X and O's because I didn't have a team to coach. So I watched everything. When I say everything, you name it. I watched players, how they walk off the floor, run off the floor, how the huddle was in timeouts. Why did he call timeout? What would I have done? How do I counteract that? Referees, where are they making their calls from? What officials I don't ever want to see in the game when I come back. I just wanted to kind of psych myself so I knew I was coming back somewhere. I didn't know where. And I want to be ready because I'm going into this with like a rookie coach. First time ever. I'm excited, but I have experience behind me. And now can I motivate a whole new bunch, a whole new community, coach a staff as well as the players while we're doing all this. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
I'm happy you're excited. I'm happy you're back for the players and for the culture. I will say this, and I know you and Matt are close, and Matt probably has the same perspective I have. You as well, Coach, is that, it's not so much like you've been away from the game, but, the movement now, the high school transfer portal, you probably guys in the 757, it probably doesn't impact you guys like it does here in Northern Virginia, D.C., and Maryland. I mean, schools like Hatfield, Patriot, Potomac, the private school sector up here in Northern Virginia, D.C., and Maryland is insane. Like, down there, you guys got Norfolk Collegiate, Norfolk Christian, Peninsula Catholic. I'm from there. It's my home. I tell people up here, we don't have that problem back home. Like, you might leave to go to an IMG, but that's a really elite kid. But you pretty much may transfer within the high schools. Up here, it is insane, the movement. And the parents, I hate to get on my soapbox on such a great weekend of college football, man, but the parents, man, it's so funny because I've been blessed to have a dad who has a PhD, and my mom and him been married 54 years. My mom, graduate of Hampton University. My dad, a graduate of Norfolk State. I know we're going to talk about NSU here shortly.
We are, yeah.
I'm an HBCU.
By the way, real quickly, if it's okay with you, one of our guests has not gotten back to us in the third quarter, so we might keep a possession or two in the third if you're okay with that.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay. And I didn't know I was a great player until like my junior, senior year. Like I remember I was ranked 4th in the nation on the Sporting News magazine. some of my teammates, they were at Coliseum Mall and they brought it to the locker room, and I went and bought a couple of copies. But Coach Mike Smith, I played for Coach Mike Smith and Coach Frank Beamer, 2 Hall of Fame coaches, and I played for Coach Brower because I played basketball 3 out of my 4 years. So I played for 3 Hall of Fame coaches. And I worked hard. I wanted to get a scholarship, but I wanted to win. And nobody in my neighborhood in the 757, nobody in the Vick household told me I was great. Even when I look at my cousin Mike, and Marcus, like, we knew we were good, but like there was a sense of understanding, like, you just play for your team, you get better, you work hard. Now, man, like, kids are announcing in 8th grade they're transferring or they're going to this school or they're ranked. And I like rankings, like when I did a live about a month ago. I like rankings when you guys do it or other people that actually watch games and don't have a bias. Now we got. You mean you don't like the ones that steal photos from us that do a little graphic? No, you don't like those people. Okay. No,
I don't. I just wondered. I didn't want to say what that is.
I don't because first of all, I feel like if you're going to really cover it. If you're going to cover it, go sit in the gym for 6 hours. Like, I'm from the era where the David Tills covered me, so I was covered by Hall of Fame journalists. So, like, to me, I'm used to people like really knowing, not kind of getting sensationalism where they just post stuff and they just trying to get clicks. And I don't know, man, and the sad part is when I mention the parents, they take the bait. They take the bait. That's a crazy question right there.
Yeah, one of our sports TV people put up, who was the toughest player you faced one-on-one in college and high school? Oh, boy, that's going to – we'll get you in hot water. You ain't got to play them anymore, Dwight, so you can answer it.
Hey, yo, geez. So I should take the safe answer, say Allen Iverson, Anthony Poindexter, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis.
Right.
As far as one-on-one blocking, I got to say it's a set of people on college. I'll start with college. Cornell Brown, Corey Moore, J.C. Price, from my teammates. Those guys were just insane. Like, it was – and those are 3 of the best defensive linemen in Virginia Tech history. And I was there for the 99 team because I was there in 98 and I was there in 95. So you're talking about 2 of the best defenses in Tech history. High school, I went against David Turner, who was the Norcom high school great, but he didn't really match up with me one-on-one. So high school, it really wasn't, and I'm not even trying to be funny. I may have given up 1 sack in my 4 years in high school. I take it back. For like 2 plays, I was a sophomore and he was a senior. I had the distinct privilege of trying to block Brandon Noble at First Colonial. And he took me for a ride to the concession stand.
I hope my guy Jimbo out there, Jim Timmons out there, is watching. He's an FC grad. He loves to brag about how good Brandon Noble was.
Brandon Noble is not talked about enough. Had a good career with the Redskins, Washington Commanders now. But I was a sophomore. He was a senior. And I started as a sophomore on varsity. I was on varsity as a freshman. And he came on my side, and he just took me. He was nice about it. He just took me and drove me. And then after that, he did like this and smiled with the Jordan pose. And I was like, oh, my God. But man, honestly, that's a great question because I feel like I played in the Tidewater, Hampton Roads area during the golden era. So like from a competitive standpoint, man, you talking about, geez, I wish they did a documentary on this for that time frame. Aaron Brooks, Allen Iverson, played against Poindexter at UVA and in the All-Star game back when they had the VHS All-Star games. Played with guys like Myron Newsom, played with Sean Hamlet. I mean, I can go on and on, man, because back then the Peninsula District was a gauntlet where like Kickintan had Morocco Brown, Chip Laws, the Roberts brothers. You had the coaches, Kozlowski, Tommy Riemann, the guy over at Denby, I forgot his name, and you had Warwick, and Warwick had Antonio Banks, who I played against, and I can go on and on. Like Bethel, people talk about Allen Iverson's '92 state championship like it was just him. That team featured guys like Jonathan Dean, who went on to JMU, who had a great career. They were loaded and really physical up front. It wasn't just a situation where Iverson was throwing the ball to himself. I just feel like that Peninsula District Golden era, I know it's a new time, a new era now, but I just went against some monsters. And I mean, people were just like insanely talented. That's probably one thing I hate about today's game is like, you have to wait sometimes for that premier matchup where back then I remember rushing home after stopping by McDonald's. We didn't have much money. I go home and watch Bruce Radar do Friday Night Lights. Yeah. And he was like, let me take you across the water, and the helicopter would go there. And I'm like, oh my God, I felt like I was part of something so much bigger than myself. And then I told this to Matt, because, Matt's my guy. I remember being in high school, 10 a.m., me and my dad, he picking me up from practice, and I'm listening to Tony Mercurio take calls, and guys are calling in talking trash from across the water to the peninsula. So I know I didn't fully answer that question, because I'm telling you, and you guys know from being around this great game, we cover football and basketball. I played against so many great people. And I could keep going for another hour. Like the players, I mean, when I look back, even my son, who's a freshman at Wingate, and he's like, you played against him? I'm like, yeah, man. Like Phoebus, Tory Edge, Antoine Womack when he was a youngin', Maurice, I can't remember my guy's name, man. TJ Carrington. There was so many guys, man, like, and Bill D and Stan Sexton. Like, yes. I really feel like I interviewed Stan Sexton about 2 months ago, and me and him, after I was done recording, we just talked about the names. And I said, Coach, do you really feel like that was a golden era? He was like, yes, absolutely. Because of how, like, he's like, Bill D, God rest his soul, and Mike Smith were never friends, but they respected each other. And it was a great time, man.
We just had on Hank Sawyer earlier on this, Dwight. You bring up so many great things about there's levels to this. And I put this on my Hats Hits on my tweet the other night about there's levels to this, and people upset about the Commonwealth teams getting beat out of state. But Bill D had to bang his head against the Mike Smith Hampton wall for years and years. And even Kozlowski and Bethel finally got it to a level. For years, Hank Sawyer didn't beat Phoebus or Hampton. Finally broke through and did that. Rich Morgan did the same thing at Oscar Smith. There's levels to this where guys have to. Doreen McCain at Maury, he didn't beat Hank Sawyer right away. It took him a couple years to do it. Yeah. And then now he's got, if not, them and Phoebus are viewed as kind of the flagship, along with your good pal and former college teammate and Lauren Johnson at Highland Springs. And you brought up Tony Mercurio, rest in peace to him as well. He was the one that got Ed his starting radio and mine as well. And I remember going to his road shows as a kid with all these books. Who's this kid over here, Al? We're here at Pembroke Mall right there. The scenery's nice out here, ladies and gents. I can do Tony's voice now. He's not with us anymore. You can't get after me and say, "What are you doing, young buck? Young whippersnapper?" So get on me.
Yo,
you're right. It's just listen. I used to love doing. People know this. Mashed potatoes and gravy. I did my Tony voice all the time. The thing is the third quarter is about to get underway here with Miami leading Notre Dame 14-7. I told us to one of the Phoebus assistants, I think on Facebook recently, that I think the PD's up this year.
It is.
It is. With Derek Fisher and Amari Pryor at Bethel, what David Porter's doing, and Warwick's been getting better over the recent years. It's up. But even if it's up, and what Phoebus is doing has been, astonishing, continuing on after Bill D into Stan Sexton and now Jeremy Blunt, it still ain't going to ever touch what it was in your era in the 90s, which was the golden era. But I want to get you to touch on, because Ed's going to get disgruntled here if Miami starts to really extend themselves up here. But the game today with Tech for a moment. And by the way, how good was Fred Johnson, JR for South Carolina? 10 tackles. He was, I thought, the best player on the field for much of that game, Dwight. But
he's an animal.
And he could be a Sunday guy. I felt for the longest, you were right there in that game. The field goal, 56 yards before the break. I know Heath had to drop. But you outgained him for 3 quarters. That punt return was big, though. The Vicari Swain punt return. And it feels like since Beamer and Foster left, tell me if I'm wrong here, that's the one area. And Ed always talks about when we do previews of big games, state playoff games, special teams. You all had, with the lunch pail era, but an identity of blocking kicks and special teams. It always feels like, I look at the numbers and some things, I'm like, you're close, but you don't have that special teams killer. Is that a fair way that's going to separate you from one of those big games?
I think it's more so what you're describing as a mentality. So, I said in my group chat, and even at where I'm at right now, I said, when Shane made them re-kick it, I said, that's a chess move. And that was a great move, because you look, the Virginia Tech punt team has 3 linemen. They were the blockers right before the kicker, and they had to run back down there. And one thing the SEC, I mean, the ACC has it too, but the SEC has more of it, and that's speed and athleticism. And when he got it, it was a straight line kick, which is the worst, in the middle of the field after they just ran down there. And basically, that was, to me, the ball game. Tech was still in it because, they had the opportunities. But I feel like other than the kicking game, when they got a great kicker there, he made some 50-yarders, including one today, a 59-yarder. Virginia Tech has not really carried on with special teams. There's been games even going back to last year when they blocked the kick against Clemson to go up 7-0, but they don't really do much with it. There's not the same mindset. And I think looking at today's game, I would love to talk to Shane later on in the season and get his thoughts on it, but I feel like Shane is happy he won, but he's probably more relieved because South Carolina was on the ropes. South Carolina gave Virginia Tech 3 quarters to take over the game. After that opening drive, South Carolina did nothing. Virginia Tech kept getting in the red zone, driving, turnover, a penalty, a illegal chop block, or, it was just like you keep drop passes on 3rd and 5 against a team, whether you believe they're the 13th ranked team in the country or not, against a team of that caliber, you cannot squander opportunities, and that's the difference. Big games are always won in the trenches, but more importantly, it's the adjustment game, the 3rd and 4th quarters, because in the first couple of weeks of the season, even if people have returning starters, everybody's still trying to figure it out. And then that's why I said when I previewed the game, when people had me on different platforms, I said, expect a slugfest, expect teams kind of a messy, ugly game. And then eventually whoever blinks first is going to lose the game. And the team that, can counter that will win. And South Carolina did that. And I feel like, Shane is 4-1 now in openers, and Virginia Tech is now 1-3. Now, the good news is you got a lot of good games left on your schedule. South Carolina, they're in the SEC, so we know what kind of gauntlet that is. Meanwhile, while Miami's playing Notre Dame, Miami's good, but I don't feel like other than, Clemson and Miami, the ACC is wide open. So Virginia Tech, this is an important year for them. There's murmurs about hot seats on Coach Pry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. I will say right now, I think this is a critical season for him. He's recruiting well. I saw the Virginia Pilot said that Tech has 4 commits out of the top 10, which is hard because in the 757, it's no longer the best kept secret like during my era. So you're not just going to get players like during the Beamer era. People like Ohio State and Alabama are coming down here. But he's recruited well. He's put an emphasis on the 757, the 804, and Nova. He's got some young talent. The portal's been beneficial. You look at guys like Tootin and everybody, even going back to Khalil Herbert. You're doing well with that, but you got to pull it all together. And the hard part about this, and Ed, you can appreciate this being a great coach that you are, when you announced that you were coming back, everybody immediately went back to you as a great coach. And when you're a great coach or a great program, like Miami and Notre Dame, I was a Notre Dame fan in the 80s as a kid. I'm talking about I had the jacket. I would walk around, Tony Rice, the Rocket. But you know what's funny? Even though they've done very well, they got a great coach, people that have been following that program will always hold them to the standard of what they used to be, even though they're doing very well right now going to the playoffs. And what I mean is Virginia Tech and certain programs are sometimes a prisoner of the expectations they created. And it's tough because right now, if you're Virginia Tech, your goal is to get 8 or more wins. Yeah. It used to be when we played these Labor Day Chick-fil-A kickoffs, it was like, okay, here's Bama, here's Virginia Tech. Here are 2 teams that could play for a national championship. We're not even close to that right now. We're trying to get to a better bowl game and maybe back into an ACC championship game. I look at Miami. I was just, before I jumped on you, I'm at my friend's house, and they were like, hey, what was the best game to play in? Like, what were your favorite games? Immediately, me and my guy Sharon Stith, Western Branch great. He's here with me. Sharon's here with me. We were talking about different games, and we both agreed anytime we played Miami, right? Because Miami is the U. So
swagger, swagger, man. It's all swagger.
Yeah, but if you're being honest, and I talk to diehard Canes fans, they have never won the ACC since it expanded. True. They've only won a couple of bowl games in the last 12 years. They have not really made much of all these great recruits and players they've had. They haven't really been the U like they were in those years. Because how do you replicate that?
Well, Dwight, it's also like USC right now in the West. We were talking about it a little bit ago with Gary Hess, and they got Harry Dalton from Dinwiddie. Their schedule's easy enough. They could be 6-0 when they play Ed's Irish. And by the way, it's 1st and goal now, Ed, here as we get ready for the 8-minute mark, third quarter, just running it down your throat. We'll put the stats back up on the screen here, Ed. Look at this, 259 to 115. They're just bludgeoning you on the ground right now. Look at that, 186 to 54. Where is Jeremiah Love? Can we tap in here? But someone just chimed in here, Maurice saying, not getting better until you get a new AD. And now listen, I don't know if you want to address that, but I will say this, Dwight. And again, I don't want to knock other schools here. I was just talking about this with, gosh, who was our guest, Ed? Help me here. I'm getting old now. I'm getting dementia, forgetting here. It was a guest recently. We just talked about it. It was David Teal. We had it on David Teal. But James
we talked about Virginia and Tech, yes.
Oh, well, your TV's like mine, Dwight. I think we're ahead of Ed by a play, but it's about to be a TD at the goal line or maybe 3rd and goal at the 1. But we were talking about it with David Teal that JMU, think of all the coaches JMU has changed. And it's a touchdown, baby, to Canes. Up 21-7, Monty Brown, 5 yards out. What can Brown do for you, Edward? No. We were talking about it with David Teal, Dwight, that JMU's had all these coaching changes from, you go back to the days of Mickey Matthews to Mike Houston won a championship like Matthews, Kurt Signetti at Indiana, and they keep winning. But I go to Maurice DeShazo's little comment there on the X. I think it's their athletic administration. They get it. They changed from FCS, 1AA to 1A to FBS and having broadcasts up there. And I had an issue getting on the air on New Year's Eve. They were going to make sure by heck or high water, I was going to get on the air. And I'm not saying other places don't, but JMU went above and beyond. And sometimes if you want to be at that level, you got to go above and beyond.
So I always tell people a lot of fans, the ignorant fans get more attention, but a lot of fan bases have intelligent fans. Mm-hmm. So I've been here. I mean, you and I are in these streets you and Ed, when it comes to the rumors, the murmurs, the coaching possibilities. The truth of the matter is that I was there for 2 great ADs during the prime and the rise of Virginia Tech, and that was Dave Brain, who left Tech and went to Georgia Tech. Then I was there when Jim Weaver came. And when Jim Weaver came, he was the AD, God rest his soul, at Florida and Penn State before coming to Virginia Tech. He came my redshirt junior year. He arrived on campus, and he looked around in 1997. This is after an Orange Bowl appearance and the Sugar Bowl appearance where we won the conference, after a Gator Bowl game where we lost to Carolina when they were 4th in the nation. They smothered us and beat us 42-3. But we were like winning, like big time. He looked around and said, you guys are not ready to play for a national championship. We got to get better facilities, get more money, but we will. Following year, we go 9-3. We finish the season 18th in the nation, beat Alabama in the inaugural Music City Bowl. I graduate, and then other guys move on. And, of course, this guy I'm very familiar with, close to, named Michael Vick, comes out of his red shirt, and they play for a national championship. And also during that time frame, they built the Merriman Center. The Merriman Center now is a little bit, they've enhanced it, but, there's always building. They're building and building like everyone does now, right? The truth of the matter is your AD, when you look at high school, college, whatever sport, the AD, especially in high school, the AD and the principal, but your AD on the collegiate level is basically not just the face of the program, but he or she is the individual that makes sure the program has the right schedule, has the right budget, has the right people within the context of your university that can keep the brand going. And you look at some of the games scheduled and some of I get the criticism. I understand. I know Whit personally. I like Whit. When I see him, we shake hands. I respect him. It's a tough job, but, it's also a what have you done for me lately job. You got Mike Young, who's a great coach, but these programs have to win. And Virginia Tech is a fan base. They're not going to be patient, especially when Pry's been there 4 years and all the money that goes in. And then you also wonder how long the ACC is going to be around. So the truth of the matter is that, you got to make sure, like, you got the right people in place. Like, a lot of people were very surprised that Pry kept 2 inexperienced coordinators on as long as he did. I mean, you build a staff, whether it's a basketball staff or a football staff, your assistants are essential. Well, you can look at the guys I play for. It's Mike Smith, Hall of Fame coach. Coach Mann, Coach Mitchell, Hall of Fame assistants. Frank Beamer, who I played for, Hall of Fame coach. Bud Foster, Steinspring, who's doing a great job at Roanoke. You know, you look at the assistants, Almation, you know what I'm saying? Like all these guys, Bustle, all these JB Grimes, Mike Gentry, your assistants are the foundation. So I feel like they got great coordinators now, but this is a critical year. So you got to make sure you look at other schools. Like I feel like, you know, they're our rival, but I pay close attention to UVA. I like Tony Ellett. He's recruiting my nephew really hard, amongst other 14, 5, 15 D1 schools. And but UVA,
you might have a Kedrick Golson situation where, you know, he went to Georgia, played in the NFL, and his son's going to Tennessee, and then you never know where the other son's going to go, Caden, huh?
Hey, it might happen. But I mean, you look at these ADs around here, man. Look, I was down there. I think I saw you a few years ago. The last time, not the last time, second to last time, Tech played at OU. I think I ran into you.
Yep.
And I was
the game again. Remember the blocked field goal before the half? I was Scott Cash.
Yes.
Scott Cash
And I remember.
Changed the whole game around. Yeah.
Changed the whole game. My oldest daughter's there. She's a senior. She loves ODU, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I left there impressed because I was like, damn, I told my wife, I said, I told you when you and I were dating, if ODU ever got a football program and I see what they're doing, they're going to blow up. Now, they took a tough loss the other day to Indiana, but
they were in that game, though. They were in that game, competed well. They had a lead early.
Yeah, but circling back to Virginia Tech. People were upset because, and I said this, you don't schedule a long series and play at ODU if you're trying to recruit the Tidewater area. You don't recruit the Tidewater area by beating ODU because Alabama, not to say we're Alabama, but certain programs, you may play down there a couple of times, but that long series was a bit much because ODU has more to gain and Virginia Tech has more to lose. So it's structuring your schedule and being strategic because I saw it live and in color. After a great win against Florida State, Virginia Tech jumped to 13th in the country and went down there. And I knew it because I'm from there. And they got boat race by 14, 35, 21. And it was a nightmare night because the quarterback, the kid Josh, broke his leg. Ryan Willis came in, made things interesting. But it was a signature win for ODU. And I think if I could speak on behalf of the fan base, I think the last 6 or 7 years since the Fuente and Pry era, Virginia Tech fans are tired of being signature wins for programs that are considered inferior. And that's what makes people pissed, for lack of a better term.
No, it's you hit on a lot of things there. Before we let you run here, Ed's starting to get like that word you just used here. And we might have to censor him. He could be Frank the Tank here when the Mets are losing. He could start throwing like bricks at his TV. That Oakland, you see that Las Vegas or Oakland Raiders thing on the back of his couch there? It's going to be here. It's going to be thrown here in the next 20 minutes because they're facing a critical 3rd and 10 from their own 20 with 7 minutes to go in the third. And right now, the offense is stagnant down there in Coral Gables.
Yeah, I knew with the new quarterback, I thought this could be tough because Miami be all over the place. And they really can't get anything going on the ground, which is what the feeling was they needed to do in this because they're not going to let this guy throw the ball all over the place. Being today was his first college passes. So I give Miami credit.
Well, it's still not over, man. You know, in college, sometimes, you think the game's over and they make a run. But, you know, it's so funny. I love these matchups with Notre Dame and Miami. And let me say this, too. I'm probably going to get killed for saying this because of the history of Virginia Tech and Miami. But I've always felt, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, collegiately, when certain programs are good, it's great for the brand of college football and basketball. So Miami and Notre Dame right now, hopefully Notre Dame can make a run, make this thing interesting because you want a compelling game late into the night. You know, it's great. Like when Miami's really good and Notre Dame are good, it's great for college football. When Florida State's good, it's great. And I think even on a lower tier level with the ACC, when Virginia Tech and Florida State and Miami are good, it's great for the ACC. It's no shock or nothing against Louisville or NC State. But for years when Virginia Tech came into the ACC, they kind of carried the flag while Florida State and Miami were getting it together. And part of the issue with Clemson is they even though they were winning national championships, people viewed the conference as, you know, a weak conference because they weren't challenged. And I think it's like the Peninsula District. Phoebus, I feel like in this second run of 4 straight state championships, people say, well, why does Phoebus not get the credit? Well, because of the district schedule, they haven't been able to play like they played Highland Springs for the first time last year, but Maury and those other schools can play out of state or play other big matchups where Phoebus, the Peninsula District, has let them down. Now, I will say this. I think my man Porter got Bethel rolling. I think Warwick is going to be tough. And I think Hampton is a definitely contender with Coach Woodrow. So that makes me feel good to know that there's going to be some games that can take me back. And I think right now with Maury and Phoebus and those teams taking some early season opener losses, people feel like, okay, we can maybe make a run at it because it's tough to reload and you get everybody's best shot. Now, at the end of the day, some of these teams will still be standing at the end when we get into December, but that's the beauty of it. You never know, right? You never know.
You remember, Dwight, when you played, we'll let you go on this note. When you played, if you took that loss, you were done. Same thing in college football. You took that loss, you were out of the playoff. But Clemson, they can recover from the loss at home to LSU. Texas, they can still be back in it in the SEC. It wasn't an SEC loss, and that's the strongest conference from losing to Ohio State, the Ohio State on the road. And nowadays, if you lose like Oscar Smith or Maury, we had 4 defending state champs lose to out-of-state opponents in Smith, Maury, Liberty Christian in Lynchburg, and Graham out in Southwest Virginia. But the world's crashing down for only 6-7 days. It's what you do after it.
I'm telling you, and I know you're going to discuss it. You know, I'm a big fan of your show. I've been listening to you guys on 94.1 when I come home or even when I'm up here. I'm a frequent guest. I'm telling you, I know y'all going to talk about it. But pay attention to the overreaction of everybody this week when it's like, I'm telling you, this is the beauty. This is why I think this is the best time of the year, especially when you get to the fall with baseball and MLB playoffs and football. It gets in the swing and then NBA and then college basketball. This time of the year is great, right? And the great part about it is we don't really know yet, especially with the 12-team playoff. Like the overreaction, like right now, people are texting me. They got to bench Drones and Dabo's lost it. I'm like, God, dude, these are close losses. You know, I mean, everybody's talking about, Alabama's done. Saban, people are eating pizza at 1:00 in the morning. Hey, listen, calm down, man. This is even this game right now that we're watching. Miami looks like they're in full control, but I've seen it so many nights. All of a sudden I come back out the bathroom and then the momentum has shifted. Okay. Yeah. But I appreciate you guys.
Dwight, but that's like when he goes in the bathroom, the Yankees are up 5-2. Next thing you know, he gets out of it. They're down 6-5 and he's mad. So maybe he has to go to the bathroom. Take a bathroom break, Ed, because when we come back, and Dwight, it's been awesome having you on. We're going to get you on again on a Saturday. The former Crabber and Hokie, Dwight Vick, following up Hank Sawyer and Gary Hess. We come back. We got Andy Linn, the head football coach of the Lafayette Rams, who beat Ed Smithfield Packers. Now, we say Ed Smithfield Packers. People say, is he at Nancy? Still no, he's at Smithfield now coaching basketball, not football. But we'll talk about Coach Linn and the Rams and what they have in store. The key matchup coming up in the Bay Rivers against War Hill. We'll get his thoughts on if Ed's Irish can maybe come back in this game. It's all coming your way after this time out here on 757. No. It's Hatfield and Young football cast. And one last thing, Dwight, we see a comment from not the real Maurice DeShazo. Thoughts on Hokies having trouble with finding a stud linebacker for 4th year in a row, even though Prize regarded as a linebacker guru. It seems like position groups have been a reoccurring liability for the defense for a while now. We'll give you 1 minute here, Dwight. I won't let you go for hours.
I am surprised by that because, you talk about the guy that just got traded to Green Bay, Micah Parsons. That's a pride guy. And linebacker has always been a position of tech pride. Like we've always had great linebackers from the DB, Vince Halls, Vegas Robinsons. I'm really surprised too. And you have a DB on staff. So that right now is a position that has to be upgraded or at least play better because you can't play at any level, power 4, D2, D3 without linebacker play. So it needs to improve because that's been an issue, especially in games we've lost where people have run right at us. But hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Dwight. Been a pleasure. Dwight Vick, our guest here. Victory Life. Follow him on the X at Vick757, and we'll have him on again, I'm sure, soon. Got a timeout to take. Ed's got a bathroom break. Go get some water, rehydrate, and see if they can have a comeback. But we'll talk with Andy Linn about the Lafayette Rams and more after this quick timeout. You're watching 757. No. It's Hatfield and Young football cast on Cova Sports TV, the home of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. That's right. Yeah.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis, but if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams-Deloitte, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in a phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and the evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
And welcome back to this special Hatfield and Young football cast during Notre Dame and Miami as it's Labor Day weekend. Football's back. What's better? And we've got a special guest with us as Ed's Fighting Irish Trail the Miami Hurricanes 21-7 in the third quarter right now. You see Miami with 277 yards of offense to Notre Dame's 115. It's just not his weekend right now because his Smithfield Packers took an L to the Lafayette Rams, and we have the head football coach of those Rams who are now, I think, 102-3 their last 105 Bay Rivers District games, moving up from Class 3 to Class 4 this year. Andy Linn with us. Coach, thanks for hopping on with us at 10 o'clock on the final Sunday of August. You might not have a lot to do with your life except break down film, but we really do appreciate you doing this with us.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate y'all having, what you all do for high school football is fantastic. Real.
Well, thank you. And in fact, we just showed that Ed was gushing yesterday, and rightfully so. We'll show it again for folks. The play by your quarterback linebacker, Ball Mahog. He had this isn't just one of his highlight tackles here is one of them for folks. So we watch it again here. Boom.
Yeah. That's, watching film, preparing for the right thing and being in the right place and just breaking on the ball.
Yeah, he's a heck of a football player for you, isn't he?
He is. Yes, he is.
And I know he's been offered, but I believe Old Dominion already as a junior. But I want to start with not the guys on your team now, which we'll get to as the Irish try to convert this first down, and they do just that on 2nd and 5 with 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. But you got a couple of guys out of your program. People think of Lafayette. I mean, back in the day, maybe the greatest linebacker and hitter ever. We talked about it with Hank Sawyer earlier, Lawrence Taylor. But you got two guys in Mike Green and Tyler Neville make it to the pros. How about that?
Yeah, you talk about, again, like you said, everybody talks about Lafayette and Lawrence Taylor, Mel Gray, Ron Springs and all those way back when. But having those two guys get a chance the same year was pretty special.
That's pretty cool. So if they play each other, you don't have a rooting interest, right?
They played each other in the preseason.
That's right. They did. Yeah.
Yeah. They played each other in the preseason. And, I try to leave those guys alone. I give them a good luck text every week when they're getting ready to do something. But so I opened up a little chain with those two guys and got talking about the preseason game coming up. And, Tyler said, Coach, you got to come to Dallas. You got to watch me pancake Mike. And that just opened Mike up to let's not get crazy. Oh, it was bad. And they went back and forth all the way up to the game. It was awesome to see. It was fun.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of drama with the Cowboys now with Micah Parsons being dealt. And then obviously Mike to the Ravens with Lamar Jackson and company. They've been so close the last couple of years and seeing what he's done. It's just they're both fantastic stories, I know, for you. Really are.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely. Tyler went through so much to get that far, and Mike's not had it easy. And to get to that level, to be able to even have that chance, you better be a pretty good football player, pretty good person.
It's funny. We had both of them on before we transitioned from the radio on ESPN locally to now podcast and being seen on Cova Sports TV as well as our show being syndicated on television, is that we had both Mike Green and Tyler Neville on our show when they were in high school making that transition to college. And just the number of people that would come up to me about just the quality young men they were, just how well they conducted themselves. I know that's the stuff that, and Ed will talk about this too now, coaching for so many years. Those are the things that make you all the proudest, even more than the wins and championships, right?
Oh, you're going to win. You're going to win games. You're going to lose games. We've won a lot of games. But, having those kids do that, or when your kids come back to school with their kids what I do is about every monthly, I've got every phone number of every kid since I've been the head coach. I've got every phone number of every kid that's played for me. And monthly, I send out about 50 welfare checks just to get a chain going. Everybody talking, how everybody's doing, Those are the things that, make you want to keep doing this as long as you possibly can.
Well put. Ed?
Andy, that's why you're big time. Just that statement right there says enough about you. I don't give a damn about all your wins that you have. But to say that you have phone numbers and you still send that stuff out, I mean, that's just unbelievable, admirable above all. And I'm kind of embarrassed that I haven't been able to do that. I tried that early in my career, but I've been with and that's my 6th high school, which I never thought I'd last this long. So many players, but you hit it on the head. You're going to win games. You're going to lose games. If you do your job, you win more than you lose. If you have the right players, you'll win a lot more.
Yes,
and to have and to have right players, you're going to have to really develop those relationships. That doesn't mean you just cater to them all the time, which some young coaches think that's the way to do it. You're going to have to be at times the guy they want to cuss out, but they know they better keep their mouth shut, or they not only won't play, they'll be gone. So, and we have to walk that fine line. Like people have been asking me about, coming back to, I'll be at Smithfield and I'm interviewing these assistant coaches, Andy, and I'm asking them, and they're asking me, they're actually interviewing me. Well, Coach, when you say you treat kids more fairly than equal, what do you mean? I go, well, a lot of people say treat everybody equal, but I found out in coaching, you can't do that because we're not all equal.
Oh, it's not even close, Coach.
Right. So what you have to do is go fairly. Each kid with their own. Now, you've got to keep them in line with what the progress of the team is and all that and structure. But it's more that you're going to treat them more fairly than equal, I believe. And I ask you this as a veteran guy, and like I said, you got 1 million wins. Is that kind of the approach you take when you look at individuals in terms of in your program, the rules and the structure? It's more on the idea of fair than equal.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you what, Coach, I've never heard anybody put it that way, and it's a great way to put it. Like you said, we have a structure, we have a program, and if you're good, if you win that many games, you usually do have a structure to what you're doing. And did I lose you guys?
Nope, you're good. I hear you.
Oh, okay. You have a structure to what you're doing, and you can't treat everyone equally because none of us are equal, especially when you have kids from every walk of life. You don't know what they've got at home with this one, with this one, with this one. You better be a good football coach and learn what you've got with each of those kids so that you can treat them fairly.
Well, and like I tell parents, I said, now don't answer this out loud with your kids around. You have multiple kids. Isn't there that one kid you'd like to send back and try to trade in? The other one you want to give all the cake and ice cream to? And a lot of times they're sitting there like, they know.
Yeah.
So I said, so why are coaches supposed to handle kids equally when the parents don't even do it?
No, you are correct. You are correct. But I think if you can figure out that way, if you truly do know your kids, you take the time to get to know your kids, not the football player, the young man, you can then treat them all fairly.
Right. Yeah. And I believe that. But Andy, let me get in real quick. The game.
Big shout out real quick. Doreen McCain's mom shouting out there. You see, love what you said there. And by the way, Andy, we know your time is precious, but if Notre Dame happens to score on this drive, just know because of how superstitious he is, he's going to make you stay on until the end until they come back and win. So just giving you a heads up, he's going to make that happen because that's how he'll think you're good juju, not bad juju. If they lose, you get down 3 scores, they'll say, get out of here. I'll get the next coach on. So
that's right. Well, hopefully they found a little bit of offense here now, so we'll see who can go on.
Well, that's why we got rid of Dwight Vick because when he came on, they took the halftime lead.
They
so we
took
cut his
the
time
kickoff,
down.
went right down the field. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, we got rid of him because that was the bad juju. So hopefully your veteran leadership will help us these Irish get the lead and get back.
Only if they're running the ball, Ed. That's all I can help them with is running the balls. We're not putting that thing in the air too often over here.
Well, that's not what I'm hearing. Though I'm hearing you got with that quarterback. You got some ideas and innovative things on the horizon.
I don't know. We like to run the ball. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is this: I got to see you up close, personal, for the first time, and I was in the back of the end zone where one of my duty was that AD Coach Doolin gave me my duty. I said, put me somewhere close to the field. I want to see our kids at Smithfield, but I also want to see this Andy Linn juggernaut, what he's been doing. And I'm telling you, Andy, this is as serious as I can be. I've seen a lot of good football teams, a lot of winning football teams, a lot of Hall of Fame coaches. Your kids hit. And I mean hit. And they're tackling the right way. They're not bumping kids up top. And when your kids hit somebody high, they hit them where I told Matt, kids were flying to get the ball in the air flying. They were coming right to the ground. Your execution. And I know you're going to say, oh, okay, I appreciate it, Coach. But, we watched film. I saw 72 things we better improve on or Warhill's going to get it.
Yes,
you're correct. It might be more than 72. You're right.
I told Matt, I said, these football coaches are nuts. They kill the doggone films. They go back and forth. Hank Sawyer we had on earlier, he broke a damn projector years ago. A couple of the things because he got mad, picked it up and slammed it. Basketball, we don't do all that. We show. No.
You just break your hand in the locker room in a game. You're up by 6 at the half.
That's a whole other story.
He slipped.
Right.
He slipped. All right.
Right. I slipped. Somebody put a locker right where I was at the last second.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But Andy, and again, your kids execute. They hit. They play together. And I said to myself, well, now I know. Now I know why this guy wins so much. He's got guys in the right spots. Your line is huge, but they can move. And I told Matt, the Simpson kid, I said, look out. All he needs is the eye of a needle. And he's gone. I
tell you, he's really blossomed now, and he was special the other night. Now he really was.
Yeah, I want to make sure people know that. And I ain't saying it because you're on the doggone screen. I'm just saying what I saw was your kid. No wonder you win so many games. Your kids just execute. They don't make a lot of dumb mistakes. And I'm not bad mouthing my Smithfield kids. I think Tracy will get them going. And we're missing some. We got to get some key kids in key positions, but we'll be okay. We hung with you for a good bit, more than I thought. But and you guys are way up there. We're not even close to that yet. So I think Tracy will find some good things out of that game and prepare for the rest of the season. But when you're putting your squad together, what are some things? You don't have to get deep into philosophy, whatever, but like, non-deal breakers. Like, this is how it has to be to your staff or whatever as you put a squad together each year.
Well, I mean, the first thing we're looking for hard workers. We get in that weight room January to August, and then of course twice a week during the season. But we get in there and they've got to work. That's the first thing. And then, it used to be back in the day, you're looking for the best player, you're looking for the best kid, the best athlete, you're looking for all that. But you can use the old coaching adages, and we use it very much now. Dependability is the best ability. If that kid shows up every day, that kid works hard, you can make a football player out of him. Now, if you get those great athletes to buy into that philosophy, then you can really have a great football player. And our kids have bought in. They work extremely hard. We keep a system. We don't change. We haven't changed since I've been there in 1997. We haven't changed. We run the same system. The kids know the system. Then it comes to, like you said, and I really appreciate you saying that, is, we try to play fast and physical. And a lot of teams don't do that anymore. A lot of teams want to get in spread and sit back and don't put your linemen in stances, and we're going to patty cake you. We may be wrong. We're going to get beat by, at some point everybody gets beat, but we're going to go down swinging as physical as we can, coming off the football and everything else. And I'll tell you what, Ed, now that Smithfield football team's physical now. They're not sitting back just taking it now. They are a physical football team. I hate to say this. I hate to play at Smithfield because every time we go there, it is a physical football game.
Yeah, I think Tracy, in year number, I think it's his fourth year. Again, getting the pieces out there, getting the numbers out there. It'll be all right. He did a really, really, really good job. He's improved each year out there. So, and that was one of the reasons I was excited to get the Smithfield job. Tracy and I shared an office for like 5 years. Of course, he cried for 3 days when he found out he had to share it again because he thought he got away from me because
He's
my
still
desk.
crying. He's still crying.
My desk looks like Hatfield's hair. It's all over the place.
Oh,
Can't
man.
find nothing.
Yeah. At least he still has her. I can't say I do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, like I say, when you're putting your squad together now, and the only thing, Andy, I said this, and Matt told me already. He prepped me already. He said you're going to see the quarterback, who's a very good offensive player, been offered, is going to play linebacker. And I said, you mean defensive back? No, he's a linebacker. I said, Matt, you don't put a kid that great at linebacker. He's involved in hits and whatever. He's going to get hurt. He said, okay, you just go watch what you want. Then I said, this damn kid is the leading hitter, tackler. He's in over every play. And I said, well, maybe because he's a quarterback, he reads the quarterback's eyes, head movements so well. He's in the right positions, but then he's hitting. But I keep thinking, I don't want my quarterback making hits or getting hit. Obviously, with you, that's no problem.
Well, with him, he's a very cerebral football player. He's been around football for a long time, been to many camps, and he's when it comes to a football IQ, Baum's got a great football IQ. But what you didn't notice the other night, Ed, is he didn't play quarterback the whole game. He didn't start for us the other night. Talon Leach started for us the other night.
Well, see, that's the other thing. You have too many good quarterbacks. It should be illegal. Because the way they were throwing those lead pass, that one lead pass, it wasn't to Simpson, it was the other receiver.
JL Lowe, yes, sir.
Yes, that play was beautiful.
Yeah, Talon that Baum was having a little bit of hamstring issues last week, so we kind of took him out of one way. And Talon's normal outside linebacker for us also, but he started a game for us last year when Baum got hurt against Grafton.
That was the game I covered, right? Wasn't it when you played Grafton?
Yeah, when we beat Grafton, and then he's 2-0 now. So yeah, I told him, I said, if you never start again, you'll go out as an undefeated quarterback at Lafayette High School. So there you go.
Hey,
but,
Andy, that's what I did. That's what I did with coaching girls basketball. I coached 2 rec girls games. I got a better unit. I'm 2-0. Hey, I stopped then.
Hey, what perfect winning percentage right there.
That's right.
Yeah. So Talon, he stepped in. I mean, he did a fantastic job last year. It's why we had no hesitation to do it this week. He knows the offense. He executes the offense. He could throw the ball. I mean, he's a great leader. It's like you said, Ed, it's a definite bonus to have 2 of them.
As we have guess what we got, Coach? We got a touchdown for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Look at it, and I got it now. If I can find it here, I'm going to play it for Ed so he can dance with it. They're in the end zone. 11 plays, 64-yard drive, and now they're an extra point away from making it a 7-point gap here on the Hatfield and Young football cast during Notre Dame and Miami. And it's a touchdown with the quarterback, C.J. Carr, hitting Jordan Faison to cap that 11-play, 64-yard drive in 5:16. You're the good luck charm. I've never asked you this, Coach Linn. Do you have a favorite college team or team that you enjoy, even not even a college team, that you enjoy most watching play on a Saturday when you're free and you're like, I like watching them because of their style or system? Anybody enjoy watching?
I don't think I really have a favorite team. I used to be a huge Michigan fan and of course even up to last year when they just ran the ball because I love to see that kind of stuff. But no, I'll be honest with you. I probably don't watch much football during the afternoon on Saturday. I give my staff the day off on Saturday, and I kind of try to. You never take the day off. Football's always running through your head, but Saturday evenings I'll watch the games that are prime time. But no, I'm an avid Vikings fan in the NFL, but in college not really so much.
Oh, we just did the other day. I'm glad you said that. Now that you said that you're an avid Vikings fan, because we do our NFL over-unders on the show every year before the season starts. And last year, as a matter of fact, our guy from Cova Sports TV, Nick Senti, he is a big Minnesota Vikings fan. But we both took them this year as an over for the total in that division. Tricky. It's 8.5. We took over, but that division might be as good a division as there is in pro football with the Vikes, the Lions, the improving Bears with a new head coach, and of course Green Bay getting Parsons to go with Jordan Love.
Yeah, I think the Lions may take a little bit of a dip. You lose 2 coordinators. I don't care what you're saying. It's tough now. I know it's the NFL, but it's still an adjustment period. And like you said, that division's tough, real tough. So, I can see the Vikings winning easily 9 games, so I would have taken the over too. Now, last year when they said 6.5, you should have bet a lot of money on the over. But
now, a few years ago, you and I I wish I had the picture with me still. You and I took a selfie with the one and only Keith, who now just chimes in with good afternoon at 10:19 at night. Do you have any advice for how Ed is going to deal with Keith on a regular basis now?
Oh, I hope Ed, every time you see Keith, you go up and shake his hand, man. He is unbelievable. He is my favorite guy in Smithfield. Always has been. That was the one person I was sad I didn't get to see the other night.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I went up there to work the game was I wanted to meet with Keith, but he had other things to do. And see, I got to help Keith. Keith, it's not the afternoon. Okay, it's your bedtime. It's 10 o'clock at night, Keith. What are you doing afternoon? You must got every light in the house on, and you haven't looked outside in a while. So get it together, Keith.
Oh, that's about right for him now. Now I tell you what, he was one of my favorite guys to see in Smithfield all the time, buddy. I tell you.
You love Keith. He is as loyal. You need loyal, as you know this for coaching as long as you have, as does Ed. You need loyal people that have passion, and Keith is one of those. And one of our favorites that we love.
He embodies everything you just said. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. In our remaining time here with you, we'll probably keep you for maybe not till we probably get a next commercial break. I guess let you finish up what you're doing. To follow up on that one question though, when you do happen to get a chance to watch, we'll have asked this to basketball coaches. I throw it to Ed's way a lot. When you're watching a pro or college game, are there things, because a lot of young coaches think, oh, I just saw that touch, I'm going to put that into my team. It doesn't work that way. Are there some things that you'll see that the common eye isn't trained to see that you might try to sprinkle into what you do? Give me a thought on that in all your years of watching other football. And it could even just be, it could go down to lower levels, not even the college and pro. You see something else, another game on film, and you say, you know what, we might want to try that.
Well, it's a copycat business. No matter what you do, someone's copying you or you're copying someone else. Now at the pro level, you don't see a whole lot of it, but what you have seen leak into the pro level from the high school and college level is the jet sweep. You see how many people run the jet sweep now, which was it wasn't run very often in the pros not very long ago. Now I will say, you look at Army, you look at Navy, Those kind of schools, for what we do, we've borrowed lots of things from them. Absolutely. There's schemes, there's formations, there's plays. But we've run the wing T for years, and in this year we kind of changed it up a little bit. It's the wing T essentially, but sent my staff to Texas, to Liberty Hill in Texas, to look at the Texas slot T, and we're actually running a lot of that. And it's it's a run the football, fast paced, 3 guys, different directions, and we're coming at you. I mean, those guys the other night, Breon Stokes, Josh, and Tyree Wilson, we ran we had 106 yards in penalties and still had 432 yards rushing. So, I know everybody's like, you got to throw the ball more, but I think I'll take what we have right there. We had 92 yards passing too. Don't get me wrong, but we had a 70-yard pass. That helps.
Well, Andy, you're a veteran guy. You win a lot of games, but I'm going to have to learn you like I've done some of these other Hall of Fame coaches. I don't coach football, and this next statement will show you why. You got to have the 4th and inches pass. You got to do the flea flicker. Got to hand off to a guard/tackle in the backfield because he's big enough at the 2-yard line. He'll fall in the end zone. You got to put some of those plays in because you make kids execute well, and it's going to add some more wins on your total like you really need them. And I don't want you don't have to cut on there and say, well, this old basketball coach telling me something about football. I don't need that. I don't really need it. Just keep that in the back of your head for down the road.
Well, let me tell you. So I've checked a couple of those boxes already, Ed. Every year, my senior lineman, anybody who's been in the program 4 years and is a senior and starts on the offensive line, will get a goal line carry during the year to get a touchdown.
Nice. Nice.
We've done it every year. You can usually find a game to pop that in there and do it. Last year, we actually had a jet sweep that we handed off to our guard, who was only 160 pounds. We handed it off to him rather than and had the tailback lead for him. Now the 4th and inches pass. I'm a 4th and inches quarterback sneak guy. We're getting the first down.
I'm with you.
Now, I mean, I could maybe inch myself if I'm up in the game to do something like that. But the old coach in me would be shaking a little bit not to get that first down now.
Now, help me with this before I let you run. I know you got a key game coming up on Friday at Warner with War Hill, who also won its season opener, and you want to get some rest here before Labor Day hits. Help me out with this, though, because one of the things that drives me crazy, and I just saw it yesterday, in fact, I think it was in the Florida State-Alabama game, which was successful. 4th and 1, and the NFL teams do it a lot now.
And they were in shotgun.
It drives me crazy, Coach. Help me. Why guys keep doing it? Why? Because you're making – instead of getting 1 yard, you got to get 5. It drives me nuts.
Man, I wish I could tell you. I mean, it's you'll never – if you are at a Lafayette game and we are on the 1 yard line and we're in shotgun, Andy Linn has either retired or passed away.
But I mean, I guess what if you could, and I'll let you go on this. What is the thinking? Is it just because you're spread out more space? It's too congested? Because I don't understand the logic in it really.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think most of the people, it's their systems. If you watch, they don't go under center. Under center is almost a dinosaur anymore,
right?
And so they don't ever go under center. So you would think they'd have a plan to once you get inside the 5 yard line to get under center. I mean, when you watched a couple of these games this weekend, teams would get down there and just couldn't get the ball in, and then had to end up running around. Notre Dame's first touchdown, quarterback had to run 30 seconds before he threw the ball because the first 2 times they tried to run the ball from shotgun and got blasted.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's I don't know. I'm old school. I'm going to stay the way I am until I'm not here anymore, I guess. And hopefully it leaks to somebody likes it. I don't know.
And it's the equivalent of all these pro and college teams that decide to pass up a layup for a 3-point shot. I know it's the same thing.
And I agree with Andy. And again, I'm not no football expert, but I do too. I look at the shotgun and I'm thinking it's like baseball. When they ship the third baseman to shortstop, nobody bunts the ball. Am I missing something?
Yeah. No,
okay.
Extra innings, they can't sack bunt anymore. They can't sack bunt in extra innings. They let run in. They can't do it. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that's lost in our sport a lot is fundamentals. And so, it's a fundamental. So, if you're not doing your fundamentals, I mean, and you guys go to all this stuff and you do these shows everywhere, which I think is fantastic. But, 7-on-7s is the way to play football now. And, the only way I'm going to a 7-on-7 if it's the front seven and the offensive line versus their front seven. That's the only 7-on-7 I want to go to. So
there you go. Well, hey, it's been a real pleasure having you on. I'm sure this will not be the last. This is our first game night cast. We play this with other football games, other sports as well from time to time, not every Sunday night. But real pleasure talking with you. I know Ed enjoyed watching your team, although he didn't love the outcome being now that he's a Packer wearing the blue and gold. But all the best to you against the War Hill Lions and beyond, and we'll see you soon.
I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. You too.
Keep winning, man, and come see us play some hoops. I might need you on the bench for some of that knowledge.
Well, Ed, I am going to, when you guys come here this year, I'm going to make sure I come up and shake your hand, man, because I love listening to you.
Hey, you're the first game of the year. They gave me the 4 top teams in the district for my debut year, and we open up at Lafayette. I said, could have anybody done it any crazier?
Oh, no.
I'll see you.
Potentially, the Bay River schedule makers aren't the best. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it, because when I looked at the schedule.
Oh, don't look at the TV, Ed. Don't look at the TV because something bad just happened.
Don't tell me they fumbled the damn ball again.
No, they didn't fumble it. They what you want to do? They threw the football. Bad. If you throw the football, as Andy can tell you, sometimes 2 out of 3 things can happen, and 2 of them aren't good.
And they're not good. That's right.
Yeah. Hey, Coach. Always a pleasure. You be well.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, guys. Thanks. See you later.
And it's Andy Linn, the head football coach of the Lafayette Rams, with us here. They're going to be a factor, Bay Rivers District and beyond, moving up from Class 3 to Class 4 this year. We got time out to take. Goodness, this has been 3 hours plus, and we've had 4 great guests with Coach Linn, Coach Sawyer, Dwight, Vick, and Gary Hess. And we might even sprinkle one more in before we say good night to all of you. And Ed, that might have been it got deflected twice. It got tipped in the air, and Scott had it, and then it got bobbled. Oh, my goodness. Hot potato.
It's coming up. It's coming up now. I didn't even know, honest to God, when you said it's getting late, you got to get rest, I looked at the clock, and I said, we've been on 3 hours. I had no clue whatsoever.
It's flown by. It is flown
by.
The
guys have been tremendous.
They've been great. I don't even know if we'll have time for the other. There you go, Melinda. Intercepted by the U. Tell Coach the U guy.
Melinda, hold on. The U. Is Melinda trying to rub it in?
Yes, she is. I hope she is. Good job, Melinda.
Come on, Melinda. I don't know you, so don't rub it in yet.
Plus 18 last season, -2 in the turnover department. But we'll take a timeout. We've got more coming your way, though, here. We'll get some thoughts on other things happening. You saw our man, Coach Harris out there was giving the touchdown signal for Irish. He's rooting for them like you, but not too happy about that play.
Hey, is Kenny an Irish fan? Is he?
If he's still watching, I think he is. He had to have been if he had that little comment there. But we've got more coming your way.
That could have been Nuki doing it for him. He can't draw. He can't draw nothing.
There it is. Notre Dame and the U, and you knew it was not going to be a good night when the graphic had Ed with Miami and me with Notre Dame, right? It was a rough night.
I told you not to do that. That was you put the bad juju in there because you put Notre Dame next to your ugly man.
We had our man Jack do it. Oh, she's a Gator girl. She's got the chomp for UF, she says. She's a Gator girl rooting for Florida. By the way, DJ Lagway, she knows this. He's my Heisman dark horse. I didn't pick him to win it. We had Phil Steele on about this. We had on David Teal. We had on Paul Stone about Heisman talk. He's got a chance. He's got a chance. Gators are good. And I just said the other day, they won the championship in basketball. Don't be shocked if their football team makes a real run in the SEC. And Kenny Harris, he did say, yep, he's an Irish fan. So he's having trouble right now with this. But big 4th down coming. We'll wait to see what happens on this 4th down before we take our time out here. Mario Cristobal, is he going for it, Ed? 21-14, 4th down, 10 minutes to go. Inside the Irish 25. It's actually 4th and 2 from the 20. Not kicking the field. Oh, he is kicking the field goal. He's going to try out the kicker to make it a 2-score game.
I'm watching the end of 2nd down and 4. That's where I'm at.
Well, you're 2 plays behind. Carter Davis. Well, half our audience is where I'm at. You got the TV that's like from yesteryear. So you're not.
I'm further west from you, so that's why I'm getting it late.
Well, go east. And the field goal is good from 38 yards out to make it 24-14. Carter Davis is good, but you still got 9 minutes. You still got a chance. That's plenty of time in football. Plenty of time. And that field goal is good. The youth people are excited. We're going to take a timeout, though. More's coming your way on this, not 757 Sports Talk, but Hatfield and Young Football Cast on Cova Sports TV. And we might come back and take one little dip in the pool. Stay tuned.
Don't do it.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
I'm here with Warwick head football coach Thomas Sykes. His Raiders dropped the season opener in a hard-fought defensive battle with Mallard Creek out of North Carolina, 3-0 here at John B. Todd Stadium in Newport News. Coach, first game for you at the helm after being a longtime assistant and D coordinator for the Raiders here. If I told you coming in your defense would keep them off the scoreboard in terms of touchdowns, you probably think you win this game. Just tell me what's going through your mind after a really physical defensive struggle today.
Good defense, like you said, man, but there's some things got to clean up. We got to play all three phases, man. It can't just be one phase. We got all three phases, and they end up winning one out of the three of them. So right now, you look at it, they got 3 points, got a field goal. So it's everything we got to pick up on. We got to clean up. If they don't allow us to score, we don't allow them to score. So it's just some stuff we got to clean up, discipline, and I think we lack some of that today.
You knew coming in this will be a really good opponent. It's won 3 state championships, has produced 4 NFL players in the past decade, and this will get you ready for what's ahead with Oscar Smith next and the teams in your district like the Phoebuses, the Hamptons, the Bethels. What did you learn about your football team today? I
learned toughness, man. I learned toughness. Not quitting. We're a little behind the curveball right now. It's a young group, but we finding our fit and forming a new coaching staff, and we finding how we fit. And so right now I learned that this give us a game now. We can go back to the drawing board as coaches, clean up what we need to do as coaches, also clean up what we see on film, check camera views out and see what we did wrong on ours and coach it up and get better. This game is a get better game for us for sure.
How about for you individually and personally? What's been the biggest adjustment? Certainly you've been the architect of some really successful defenses there at Warwick. Now you're the head coach. What adjustment was this for you game one, being not just the guy on the sideline on the defense, but being the head coach and managing things?
Always a defensive guy, man, so I'm always got my head peeking a little bit more on defense. I just want to be able to focus on all 3 sides of the ball, honestly. I got to keep my mind focused on everything, and I'm still learning to go too, right? Nobody's perfect. Each day, I just want to keep growing as a head coach and find out where I fit at on all 3 phases.
Come on, let's run here. We know you have some really good playmakers back on both sides of the ball, including a Delaware commit and Christian Corbin in the trenches. One of those guys that stepped up for you, Tracy Pope, who made an interception before the half. Speak on what he did today. He made a lot of plays, and then right before the half, in addition to that, what went wrong? Looked like you were out to score and time ran out for you guys.
Yeah, Tracy Pope, a great kid. Right now, got an offer from Ferrum to play linebacker. All region guy for us last year. He's a playmaker for us. He can play all 3 levels, but he's a safety, outside back or DN, and he made the play that we needed to make. We got down to the 1, should have stepped in, and we did not. And so that's a little frustrated right now, and we got to fix it.
And lastly, as you get ready for Oscar Smith coming up, they're coming off a loss to Gonzaga out of Washington, D.C. It feels like the only difference in this game was that one series where not Gonzaga, but Mallard Creek went a little up tempo. Is that something you're going to try to trust your offense to play with more pace? Is that a big deal?
Yes, on both sides of the ball, we're gonna work on huddling, whether it's picking up on defense faster or as an offense on the offensive side, we moving faster. Like I said, it's a game, our first official game to kind of see it. Mallard Creek, this is their second game, so we're playing a little bit catch up ball, but coming into next week, Oscar Smith, great program, and they coming, like you said, they're coming from as a loss too. So, we got two wounded animals coming in here to try to play some good football.
Well, thank you so much and all the best against the Tigers.
Appreciate it.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back with you. It's not your typical 757 Sports Talk edition, but we're going to talk a little high school football while we watch the end of this Notre Dame-Miami game with you. You just heard from Thomas Sykes, head football coach of Warwick. Give you some thoughts on what's happening in college football, maybe sprinkling a couple NFL things as well, and allow you to jump in here if you like on the comment chat line too. We may be getting one more of our guests on potentially. Have not heard for sure yet. I know a couple of the football coaches, one from the Southeastern that we hyped coming on. He had some, I think, family chores and so forth to do, as well as one from the beach is getting laid out of film. But Ed, it's been a jam-packed, fun show here. Love the interaction, people tuning in through IG and Facebook and Twitter and X and the YouTube. We'll do more of these, I think. And we might even do some from some remote locations. What you think? I like that idea too.
Well, we'll put it out there. We'd love to do this from some said places, restaurants, because I'm always hungry. We can bring, help bring in some people. Maybe we can interview some of the guests, the owner of that said facility.
Yeah.
We're up for that. And, get a hold of either one of us. Matt's probably easier to get a hold of than myself, but either one of us, or send a message out if you know somebody that may want to do this. We can have some fun with it. We don't claim to know everything, but we like to have fun with it. We try to really highlight the coaches and the kids on the high school level, but we talk college, we talk pro. We got contacts, we got some information, and we try to have fun with it. So we appreciate the people out there for, especially people tuned in, because Matt and I kind of thought about this today. Matt called me and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And I'm like, let's do it. And well, maybe should we wait a little bit? I mean, we didn't give people, and that was the only thing I was worried about. Well, get the information out so people will tune in. But heck yeah, let's do it. Offshoot of the Manning brothers when they do their cast for the NFL game. So
yeah,
we like to have fun with this kind of stuff, people. But obviously, none of it would work. Obviously, Matt puts a heck of a lot of energy in this, as he does everything else. I just kind of tag here and there. And then, of course, with the people listening, chat line, whatever, that makes us feel good that we know people are listening. We love the interaction with people, especially when they challenge us. If they got a question or whatever, or you disagree with us, that's fine too. Everybody has opinions, and that's good. And we just trying to have fun with it. That's all.
We really do. And I want to get your take on, you heard from Coach Thomas Sykes of Warwick there. His first game as a head coach, being elevated from defensive coordinator to a head coach. They lost 3-0. What was your reaction when you first got the text from me of that score being 3-0, number one? And then number two, you heard what he had to say there. They certainly played well enough on defense. Tracy Pope, ballin', had an INT. Cartier Carey, let me shout him out. He had at least 10 tackles in that game, balled out. We know about Christian Corbin's a stud up front. Your pick for Peninsula District defensive player, committed to Delaware. And they lost a couple key linebackers. I know Isaiah Emery was one of them. Xavier Carter that went to Norfolk State. But they looked good on defense. But what's your reaction to the score, and then what you heard from Coach Sykes there?
Score shocked me. I think I had Mallard winning a close game, if I'm not mistaken. But I think I had it in the 20s at least.
Well, I'll look it up while you yak here. But I don't think that you had it that close. But I know none of us had single digits. That I'm positive of. We didn't see that.
And Mallard's a very, very good program. Defending state champions?
Your score was 33-18. Mine was 30-14. And then the Massey ratings actually had it 38-6 Mallard Creek. So now their quarterback was dinged up. But they had a huge 6'7", 320 tackle from the 2028 class in Austin Ballou. And they've, like we talked about, produced 4 NFL guys in the last decade and 3 state titles in their program history. So it was a chance to kind of squash the stigma people were having out there. Oh my gosh, our Virginia teams can't beat the out-of-state teams. We've heard about it from, what happened to Oscar Smith, what happened to Maury. I'm glad Dwight Vick said earlier what he said. People think the sky is falling. And even me to a degree, why can't our Virginia teams win these games? The sky is falling. Folks, it's just one game. Calm down and relax. And you think some of these coaches and players aren't feeling that same way? Not always anxiety high level, but they don't want to lose. They compete, fierce competitors. So I'm with you. I think it's really interesting though, because one of those 2 teams, Oscar Smith or Warwick, though, is going to be 0-2. Somebody's going 0-2. The game can't finish in a tie. This isn't the old days of hockey or soccer. Right? We call it a draw. No, it will not end in a tie. Somebody's got to win the game. I give Oscar Smith the edge still, but one of those 2 teams, one of which won a state championship and one that's certainly been close to winning a region title, one of them's going to be 0-2, which out of the gate, not everybody thought that would necessarily be the case.
Yeah, when we talked about this past Saturday, people want to go ahead and go watch the review. I'm not going over everything that I mentioned on Saturday. Mm-hmm. It's not a major big deal because I said I'd rather lose to Mallard. Who did Amori play? Cardinal Gibbons.
Amori played Cardinal Gibbons and Oscar Smith played Gonzaga.
Yep. And go win a state title.
Yeah,
I would rather lose all 3 of those games and win a state title. That's my opinion, how I look at it. So, and some people will say, well, they lost to those powerhouses. Meanwhile, some other power teams played Sisters of the Poor and won by whatever. So, and then they make fun of the team that won. It's almost like no matter what you do, it doesn't work. You only have trueness to your team, your program as a coach. That's your first commitment, period. And Tommy Sykes, I'm going to my helmet off to you. He made a statement that very few first-year coaches would say. He said, hey, it's my first time as head coach. I've got to work on some things. I might have made some mistakes. No, most coaches are never going to say that, especially new or younger coaches. They think they know it all. And I really extend a congrats to Tommy for saying that because, he probably feels maybe he made a mistake in practice or in the game that cost him to lose 3-0. And of course, my comeback to him as a veteran coach would be, Tommy, I would blame it on you if you were out there and you couldn't tackle, you couldn't catch, you couldn't whatever, but you weren't out there. It's your players. Mm-hmm. They have to do the game plan as the way you want it. It's like I always say in basketball. If I tell my team we're playing this team and they're going to play us strictly zone the whole game, and that's all we practice for a couple of days before we play them, and they come out man-to-man full court and kill us, that loss is a lot on me because I prepped them wrong. Right. If I prepped them for that man-to-man and we went over the man-to-man, I said I'm going to play the man-to-man, and they played man-to-man and they beat us, I'd say to the team, that's on you.
Yeah,
I did what I was supposed to do.
Well, I was there right before the half. They're getting ready to score. They're in the red zone and time ran out. And sometimes it can be a communication error, getting a timeout, getting a spike, whatever it is to get a field goal unit out. And I'm sure he's taking that on him. And it is to an extent, but it's not all on him. It's sometimes it's communication, it's players, coaches. But even the best of them, pros, have that happen. And I'm sure he's probably thinking that could have changed things. And oh my goodness, hurdling act as the Irish go high for possible first down on a screenplay, but they're going to be just short of it because it was 3rd and 21 and had a lot of yards to get. You talk about getting Jaden Greathouse the football for Notre Dame tonight. He has been shut out of this game. No catches. Look at this. I'll put up the stats stats on the screen here and zoom in. I know it's hard for the audience to read what I got here, but let's go to receiving for a second. You got Faison with 5 for 33, Love with 4 for 26. He's usually your go-to back. Fields has got 3 grabs, Rardon and Gilbert of your 17 completions. That's not cutting the mustard, as they like to say. It's not cutting the mustard. Meanwhile, we go to Miami's receiving. Actually, we're going to rushing. It's been really, really nice production there. Tony had that big play, and Daniels had the unbelievable catch for Miami there. And in the yardage we see total, it's even out a little bit, 291 to 240. But what's killing you, Ed, is just the inability to get these timely conversions. Miami's had 4 big third downs, and they've been able to, until this drive here, it looked like a little more rushing production on you, time of possession in Miami's favor too. But you get a score here, you're not out of this thing. What was my prediction, by the way? 20-16. Was I pretty close in the ballpark yet again here?
Yeah, you because I had Notre Dame, I think 33-18. I was way off. But they're going to go for, well, you're going to know before me. It looks like they're going for the field goal. They probably kicked it or not kicked it.
Another good point here from Melinda. People think the present season teams are supposed to be the same as last season teams. That's a great point, and that's why a lot of our preseason rankings, and even in college, they mean nothing. How many times in the NFL, especially, do we have teams that are literally viewed as, well, they won, you just said it the other day, 14, 12 games. The next year they win 6 because it could be an injury to somebody, and there the margin for error is so slim. You know, you can be a football team that's capable of being 4-0, but then you're 1-3 in that league. It's so razor thin. But we put it up earlier, and I want people to let me know what you think. I will not be at the Maury Verani game, as I mentioned, because I have the soccer game I have to call. So we've been throwing out there, what game should I cover and attend? I guess your options are A, the Lake Taylor Hampton game. B, Wise at Kings Fork is a really spicy game there, and I like that one in Suffolk. You got C. Another option is Cox at Bayside. You have D, as in dog. D, Oscar Smith at Warwick, John B. Todd. Or E, other. Let us know what you think. Cast your vote. You have a vote. We all have a vote. It's the American way. What game should I go cover? You're thinking hard, long and hard over there.
Well,
Lafayette War Hill's another game, but Andy Lee just had him on. There's a lot of games you could.
Yeah, they're both 1-0. That's for early dominance of Bay Rivers.
A lot of good ones there. A lot of options.
Wise, Kings Fork was the one that perked my ears up because Wise is very good. What is Kings Fork going to do?
Melinda's saying the same thing as well. Yeah, same thing. Yep.
You want to see how getting on your bandwagon where you were saying, what's going on with our better teams losing to all these out-of-state powerhouses? Well, now, if you go to that one, you'll see with your own eyes what's going on with that one.
It's a great point. And can Kings Fork snap it? Now, Wise was, remember, they played more the last 2 years. Can Kings Fork, this is a real big game for Anthony Joffrion, we were trying to effort getting him on, and we still have. I know he's cranking out the film hard over there, long and hours. Leave it up to all you other guys, Marty Asprey and Joe Jones and Rod Johnson, all them over there. Let them do the film. You come on.
You're just supposed to take care of all that mess. These football coaches drive me crazy, man. They're in that film room, like, I want to say to them, take your wife, take your girlfriend, take both to the theater.
They're not doing that. They're watching this game now, Ed, which we might be done with the guess at this point because it's 4th and 8, and it is punting time for Miami. So the Notre Dame defense, it got the stop it needed. 3 and out. They had possession for all of 42 seconds. And look at Notre Dame showing the ability. The thing that worried me about Notre Dame for a second was you lost not just Mr. Kaiser, but you lost Xavier Watts. Remember, we had on Brian Driscoll last year. I think the 2 best safeties in the country. I know my man Jack got upset because his UVA safety was really good. But, yeah, Watts at Notre Dame and Caleb Downs at Ohio State, who, by the way, did you watch some of that yesterday? I was at the Warwick game, but I watched some highlights later on. That Ohio State secondary, mighty, mighty good. I mean, and I tell you, the guy that was really impressive, not just we know about how good Caleb Downs is an All-American at safety, but they got a freshman corner who is dynamite. My man Devin Sanchez, he's dynamite. He's dynamite. They did a great job on the Texas receivers and passing him. And Arch Manning did not look like a Manning yesterday. People are burying him. They're shoveling dirt. Going to be heard from before it's all said and done. People need to just.
And like you said, it was one game, people.
One game.
And they're playing Ohio State at Ohio State. And people say, well, Ohio State lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a lot of 5-star dudes, and they had transfers in. Please. Now, here's what I ask you. And the rankings,
Don't ask me just yet because you'll see it in about a minute and a half. What a play. We got ourselves a photo finish here in Coral Gables. Wait till you see it. Oh, my goodness.
My question is, do you leapfrog Ohio State over Penn State into number one because they beat the preseason number one, or do you put Penn State, who smashed a so-so Nevada team, move them from 2 to 1? Not that it matters.
Okay, that's a great question after Eli Raridon's 65-yard reception. I don't know how he got that wide open, and the Irish are suddenly in the red zone, but the quarterback trying to scramble. Oh, and he just got hit pretty hard there. Did your trigger man, Mr. Carr. I always wrestle with this with my own rankings. So they beat Texas, who was at the top, and Penn State was 2 and Nevada. Ordinarily, I'm the type of guy, I think it's case by case and circumstances, but I would bump 2 up to 1 and put 3 at 2. But in this specific case, because Ohio State was pretty dominant in the game, especially on defense, and they are the defending national champions, and guess what just happened? Because they are defending national champions, I would put the Buckeyes number 1.
Yes. Haven't seen it yet. But I hear my music playing. Yes. Best fight song in college football, bar none. Legendary. Many have grown out of this fight song. Most Heisman Trophy winners, most number ones, most national titles. Notre Dame.
No. Don't tell lying statistics on the show here. They don't have the most all those. No. They had the titles. That's great, but they don't have all those things. Don't lie to the audience.
All right.
Wait. What is Miami doing on defense? They have crumbled here. Mr. Timmons, I know you're watching. Get on the chat line, Mr. Timmons. You have to be sick as a dog right now. What is happening to your Miami Hurricanes? There's hope. That's right, Melinda. There is hope. Notre Dame, Ed was getting ready to bury him, and then he's going to say, I knew it all along, baby.
No, I'm not going to bury him. I'm just nervous because Miami's a good team now. We're not playing the Cupcake U. We're playing a good team on their field, by the way. So
Cupcake U.
Not playing Cupcake U. Nope.
Not playing Cupcake U. I mean, it's unbelievable what has happened since we had Andy Linn on the show in this football game. Remember, it was 7:23 left in the third when we left Dwight Vick. It was 21-7. Remember that graphic there, Ed? Remember that banner? And then all of a sudden it went boom, 24-24.
There we are.
Unbelievable. And now the statistics have flipped on their head because all of a sudden now Notre Dame has more total yardage in the game, 315 to 293. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and
Miami's defense, I don't know how they had that big of a breakdown in the coverage. He got so wide open, did Reardon. I mean, it was basically, it looked like a post corner type route to the sideline. If you're out there watching with us, let us know what you thought. I mean, Timmons, if you're watching, you got to get on. He's commenting on the IG. You got to get on the YouTube or the Facebook chat line. Unfortunately, until we can get the he is commenting. We just can't get on the screen. We got to put your comments on the chat line or Facebook through to YouTube.
Come on, Jimbo, get on the chat line.
He's on the IG. He thinks they can get on we can't use the IG. We have a bunch of people watching on IG, by the way. We'll shout them all out. While we have a chance. Well, if we can, I can go back on all of these. Let's see here. We can shout out watching on the IG with the comments. I'm going to do it right now because it's a bunch of people. Lord Haru, my man Malik Haru been watching. Cool Cash has been watching. TJ Cannon, C. Hughes, Coach God, J. Rob H, One Oval Chris, Coach Sammy D, my man Ernie Hankins, Tyrell Grant. We mentioned Coach E804 Breed, Stephen Dupree, my man Chase Myers, Coach Brendan Williams at Green Run's been watching, Trey Bowler of Massapona's been watching, Zeke's Life 2C, Mr. Gabri, Joe from the 757, Sherrod Warrington, Ayudi, Tristan Bowers, Quincy Cuh, Trey on the ball, Coach Tuck 24. I mean, it's a lot of people. Spotlight 39 pod. Coach Riemann, Tommy Riemann Jr., Tommy's son. All right. Coach Robinson at Lansdowne been tuning in. Coach Paul out there has been watching. Leon Scott, Ball in VA. Drew C. Dom's been watching. Louisa Football. CNP. I mean, tons of people. We got tons of them. Jamari Horton from Indian River. They all watching. So we all thank you for interacting with us. We want to hear what you have to say. And I could be shouting you out more, but there's a bunch of them. But I tell you what, this has been so much fun, and it's not over yet because this might be a 7 overtime night, Ed, where you can't sign off until 2 a.m.
It don't matter to me. Tomorrow's my last day of sleeping in for a long while, so it won't matter.
You poor baby. You got to go back to school and be a full-time sub, don't you?
I got to get up 4:45 in the morning from now on, starting Tuesday.
Quarter to 5 in the morning.
Those are times in the summer I was going to bed at that time. Now I got to get up at that time.
Man, that's unbelievable.
Hey, all them there. You mentioned a lot of coaches, and of course some names that probably there are coaches, but they don't use a real name. They use whatever. Hey, if you get on here and say, "Hey, let me come on for a minute or two," Matt will send you the code and we'll get you on.
Oh yeah, the screen for sure. Well,
yeah, we'll put them on as a guest. Don't just because we didn't call you earlier means we don't want you.
Well, I don't know how to do that for IG, but we can put it in the YouTube chat line. So if they go onto YouTube, but if I start doing it through my Facebook, it'll be a little tricky. But if they go onto YouTube, we'll actually put that up there now. If we got a minute, we're running out of time because this might go to overtime. But probably will go to overtime.
We're going to be on until the game basically is over. Then probably do a wrap up for a minute or two. But if somebody wants to come on and they got something good to say, we'll make you an instant guest. I mean,
we'll make you an instant guest. We were hoping when we started this a couple years ago that we would have the phone-in capabilities, which we still have not figured out how to do. But they can join, add the show right here at this link. If you go to the YouTube on Cova Sports TV, type in Hatfield and Young Football Cast. There's that link in the comment box, and if you click it, you'll see how you can join right there and get on the screen with us and ask a question or say something. Make sure it's clean. We don't want any vulgarity. Not that you would. Just we want.
And coaches, don't act like, well, if I get on there, people think I'm glory hound. I'm trying to get on there. No. We're telling you to get on.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not
but not just coaches. It can be players. It can be anybody. Fans.
Right,
we don't cater to just coaches.
Fans on.
We will get some student athletes, or we're gonna for basketball. I sent you a couple of names we have in mind. Some people that will be sports writers, sports broadcasters, coaches, athletes, former athletes, or just people that in the community we know and are great supporters of us and what we do in sports in our state and beyond. So this is something I think that's going to grow in time for sure. And it's something we're enjoying doing here, but it has flown by. It has not felt like 3.5 hours at all. It has felt like one of our shows to a degree.
And remember, we said a few minutes ago, people, we want to do this out in the public, out and about. If you got a business, it doesn't have to be a restaurant. I mentioned restaurant earlier because I like food. And all we ask is we get some free food because I'm always looking for free. But yeah, we got to do that. Melinda said earlier she was glad Jackson Dart went to her Giants instead of waiting for young Manning. That might be one of the steals of the draft if Dart ends up being that starting quarterback for the Giants. Yeah.
Well, I don't think he will be right away. They're going to use Russell Wilson and then transition it to Jameis Winston and then Dart. But with that defense, if they use all three of them, combination, they can still find a way to win 7, 8, 9 games. As you see, Malachi Fields is named to watch out.
We took a dude from UVA. Sorry about that, Jack. I know you didn't like that, but we'll take him as long as he's producing. We'll take him.
Yeah, get to know him. And so far tonight, Malachi Fields, look at the numbers. He's got 3 catches for 48 yards, including a long of 26. So he's
I'm going to give him a nickname. I'm going to call him Strawberry.
Strawberry? Why are you going to call him Strawberry?
Strawberry Fields forever.
Strawberry Fields. Okay. I don't quite get that.
Somebody get on the chat line and educate Matt. It's a song. It's a line from oh Lord, I just had the music in my head.
You want to talk about
Strawberry
singing?
Fields forever.
You want to talk about songs and singing? Well, it's a commercial break, and we're not going to take one right now because this is the good part of the game. But we can let you see some singing. some good old Michael McDonald there, Ed. You get down to that. You don't like that?
Well, we just lost probably 26 people just turning.
No, only one. One person flipped off and got tired. It's probably you.
I don't know why a host would sabotage their own show. Get that mess off there before we get thrown out by the FCA, FBI, and the TCC. Come on, man. That's
come on.
I almost would rather take fool in the pool than that crazy.
Really? Oh, so you're in favor of fool in the pool. Okay.
I just hope my agent hurry up and gets rid of that, gets that court order.
Well, don't worry. Those two people that logged off, they logged back on. It's over. It was 25 seconds of your life. Both of them came back on. See, we're good to go. All right, 3rd and 2, the 40. Trying to push it in for power, and they got the first down. I think they did. Look at Miami using the strength of that offensive line. You're behind, so this is not going to go.
I'm watching a commercial with somebody in an LSU uniform drinking a Coke.
You got to get your TV up to speed. This is the problem with this because your TV's behind.
Yeah, see, there's something ain't right. I got to get.
Oh, but if we talk about what you're seeing, people are going to be saying on the chat line, they just watched that 5 minutes ago. It's like you and Jimbo out there with the
I have
old
no
TV.
control over that. It's what my TV has. We're out here in Suffolk. We're in the country.
Well, get in the city. All right, got a first down. Miami's setting up for a field goal here. But you know what? And I hate to any Canes fans that are watching this. I hate to say this because I'm going to speak it into existence. They're going to be mad at me. They're going to be mad at me. You know, Florida State had the kicker issues, but I just got a bad feeling that this kid Davis is going to line up here for the field goal. Remember, they had the one blocked earlier, didn't go through.
Well, it wasn't. It was a bad snap.
Right. Excuse me. It wasn't correct. It wasn't blocked. It was a bad snap. You said blocked. We were talking. It was bad snap.
Yeah, I said blocked at first too.
Right. That's why I said that. But what worries me is, you know what I'm getting ready to say. And speaking of existence, Miami's going to go for this field goal and they're going to miss it. They're going to go to overtime and lose this game. I got a bad feeling about this, folks. Got a bad feeling about this. Really bad feeling.
No, you're
there we go, James. You got you on the chat line finally. Doug Flutie is what he said. Doug Flutie.
Okay, for what?
He's talking. Well, I don't know. I'm guessing he's talking about Boston College beating Miami at the end. He's a Miami fan.
The Hail Mary.
He's a Miami fan, so he fears the ending. Like I just said, they're going to miss the field goal, and then Notre Dame's going to have a Hail Mary to win it. Or what'll happen? What I said, they'll go beat you. Notre Dame will beat them in overtime. And this is not going to be a chip shot if they don't convert this 3rd down here. Running game is getting stymied now. Notre Dame is really coming up in the box and hitting. Some really good firm hitting here in this defensive front. We'll show you some of the tacklers that are leading the way here on the screen here. On Cova Sports TV, you see Stroman leads the way for the Irish. He's got 9 total stops. Bowen's got 7. Sawyer, who made that great play we had Hank on earlier off the edge for Miami. Someone's got to step up defensively because it's not been happening for him. Aguirre, Baines got the 1 interception, and Scott came close to having one. They had that tip play, but yeah, it could be the luck of the Irish there, Mr. Timmons. It very well could be. I know that is what Edward is hoping for.
Well, I feel like I'm on the sideline myself right now. A little nervous with this. Man, we got to rush this dude. He's 0 for 1 in his career. We got to come at this kicker like crazy.
Yeah. Melinda signing off. We thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Have a great
Hi, man. Oh, yes. Melinda, appreciate you. Melinda, thank you for joining in. Some of your insight was tremendous. Yeah. Really appreciate you coming in there. And we'll try to have a good Labor Day. Yeah, tomorrow is Labor Day. I got to cut the grass tomorrow. Oh.
You got to cut the grass? Wait, what did you just say? You didn't say a bad word, did you? What did you just say?
I said I got to cut the grass.
And then it sounded like you under your breath said something that I don't want to repeat.
Said,
oh, okay. It sounded like you said something else. It wasn't, It sounded like one of those 4-letter words. I was like, whoa.
I don't cuss. No.
Oh, not you. No, not at all.
I got to get a workout in the morning, then come back, cut the grass.
All right. Here's the 4th and 3. Here's the field goal. It's going to be.
Go ahead and give it to me. I'm still on 3rd down. Hasn't even happened yet.
Well, that's your fault. It's going to be about a 46-yarder. what I'm showing. It's going to be about a 46-yarder. This is not an easy kick. At 47 yards, what the screen says. I don't want to look at it, folks. I'm going to close my eyes because I want the Canes to win just to bother Ed. I got a bad feeling, though, what's going to happen.
Come on, man. Block this sucker. Go kick it right wide left.
Oh, I think it's good. Your Canes are in business, Timmons. Got the lead, but you know what? They left Notre Dame enough time. And Michael Irvin's clapping it up. They left them enough time, even without the timeouts, to go down the field, bink, 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 and get a field goal to send it to overtime or possibly.
Now, I don't have a good feeling because we got the rookie quarterback. He's going to rush some stuff.
On delay too, Ed. Well, you just heard Jimmy. You're going to see it now, but he made it. You're in good shape because my
James. As far as being delayed, James, you were delayed when you were born. So let's just get
boy, that's nice enough. He's gonna send you one of those little emojis.
Jimbo.
One of those little emojis that does not include the thumb, the
Jimbo
index
knows
finger, the
I
pinky,
love
or the
Jimbo.
ring finger. That was very mean of you.
No, Jimbo knows I love him. He's a good dude, man.
Very mean of you. Very mean of you.
Jimbo
Jimmy, that was not me. That was Ed all the way.
Jimbo was sleeping the last. Jimbo was sleeping the last 20 minutes and woke up and yelled, "Doug Flutie!" He had a dream about Doug Flutie.
Well, you dreamed about me.
He yelled out, "Luck of the Irish!" Jimmy, wake up, my man, wake up! You just yelled, "Jimmy, Doug Flutie!" And then Luck of the Irish. He thought he was watching the movie Luck of the Irish.
No,
man.
He knows the last 64 seconds are agonizing.
Like you,
Jimmy, do yourself a favor. Put on George Benson in the background. You'll be in good shape.
I got to put some on because you didn't have a good feel. This rookie quarterback is not marching down the field in 64 seconds. And I know you're going to say, well, they just got to get in field goal range. No, he's going to rush it. I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to end up rushing a pass unless they try to run, but they're not going to be able to run 64 seconds. They're going to run the clock out if they run. So this is aggravating. I'm watching the field goal now. They're setting up for the field goal now. I'm way behind.
Oh, you're still at the field goal?
He's setting up for the field goal now.
25. Oh, that was nearly a disaster.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They're doing a kickoff. I missed it. It's a kickoff.
Wait. How do you confuse the field goal and the kickoff?
I don't know. I'm so nervous right now. I don't even know what's going on.
Well, you shouldn't be that nervous.
If it was a veteran court, we had Riley Leonard, okay, but we don't have Riley Leonard.
No, you don't have Riley Leonard, but you can't have Riley Leonard forever. Okay.
Well, what was the guy I just saw? I just saw.
Oh, snap. Look at this. Beautiful play. Tunnel screen. And here come the Irish going down the field. Bink, bink, bink. Unbelievable. Tell you what. Miami's defense down the stretch of this game has been abominable. But there's a big-time play. Getting some pressure. Now, they're going to say the ball's live or incomplete. They're going to say it's incomplete. Ooh. That's the tricky part there. Yeah, we have not discussed that game tomorrow night. What do you think? UNC versus TCU, Bill Belichick's debut. They're actually a slight underdog in that game. I feel like UNC is going to win this game. I know you're not as sure. You think TCU is going to take it.
Yeah, I predicted TCU the minute I saw who they were playing. I think TCU is a little bit better. North Carolina's got so much new stuff. They'll be excited. They'll be organized. I just think they have a little bit more talent than Carolina. And I could see them winning by a touchdown, 6 points. I would go TCU.
You're not going to like this call here of intentional grounding. You're not.
Yeah, this I haven't liked the play I've seen yet since they got the kickoff.
Yeah, the lack of poise for him being a youngster.
He just threw the ball over his shoulder.
But this fourth quarter, though, hold on. They had 7 until the 17 here in this fourth quarter. They have been moving the ball down the field pretty well. Now, the protection here, Miami's bringing the house. They're bringing that pressure. They're bringing Akeem Messidor. They're going after him hard here. Now, the question is going to be, can they hold up enough? And I'm not sure they can. Oh, here he comes again. He's getting crunched. He's getting crunched now multiple times. And Mario Cristobal's team is almost there, but does Carr have a Jaden Daniels in him? Does he have a heave down the field? Because the clock's
he doesn't even
out.
have a Derek Carr in him.
Oh, this is the last play of the game.
Yeah, this is not good. We got Texas A&M next week.
And you know what? I think they blew this play dead. I think this ball game is over. I think it's in the bag. It's a wrap. I think it's a wrap. Yeah, it's not looking too good. Not looking too good at all.
It's surprised by Freeman and his guys to not go into portal for a quarterback. They went with a rookie this year.
Yeah, next week they have the bye. Then September 13th, it's A&M, host Purdue, at Arkansas, and then Boise on October 4th. Boise is a fascinating game to me. Really think it's a fascinating game. Game is not in Boise, it's in South Bend.
Yeah, this is they got a week to, as some of our coaches tonight said, Coach Sawyer, Coach Linn, go sit there, look at the film, and make some corrections where need be. But it's a rookie quarterback and a redshirt freshman who before tonight had no passes attempted, and he's got to play high-level games right off the bat. So it's going to be a learning experience. He's going to got to get some games under his belt. They had some chances. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I give Miami a heck of a lot of credit.
Carson Beck leads the game-winning drive, what ends in a field goal. The Georgia transferred, and the Canes get the job done, 27-24 over Ed Young's Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. People ask me, Notre Dame, like, did you graduate from there? No, you didn't. You're just a lifelong diehard in Miami. Good weekend for the ACC. First win against a top 10 foe since 2017, snapping the 8-game losing streak. And had Clemson been able to pull it out against LSU, it would really been a good week because Florida State beating Alabama, which was really the surprise, I think, of the weekend. I think SC is going to be a story, the Trojans. And there are some interesting games coming up in next week's slate for college football. Before we bid adieu, I'm going to read you some of the college football games for next week here where we have a moment and get your quick take on which one or two you like the most. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, I was going to say bring those up because you mentioned ACC. How about Clemson, who a lot of people thought would win, loses, and Florida State and Miami, who people said probably won't win.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a first week, first big week because, they started games 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
And there have been upsets. Boise State got smacked in their first game.
A lot of these games are not great. Yeah, USF beat them. So if we look at it here real quickly, FIU at Penn State, 41.5 point line. Texas, 35.5 point line against San Jose State. Not a big game. Illinois at Duke. I'm curious to see which one of those two gets to 2-0. I think Illinois can be a sleeper this year. Altmaier on the road, but Duke has played well now. Duke has played well in some spots. Remember, just a couple years ago on Labor Day, they beat Clemson at home in Durham. And they got a guy, by the way, from the 7.57 on their roster at running back, Peyton Jones from Maury, who's been a factor. Iowa at Iowa State's interesting. It's the old Hawkeyes, Cyclones, Iowa rivalry, high noon game. Iowa State has a chance to get to 3-0. They won that game, of course, over the pond against Kansas State, who struggled, by the way, in their first game back. Not a lot of great games. Ole Miss at Kentucky's an SEC game with a little bit of sizzle. Your big one is your primetime game, Michigan at Oklahoma. Is Oklahoma back? This is the game to say they are. If they can beat Michigan at home and get some pressure defensively on Bryce Underwood, that to me is the game that's going to tell us if they're back or not.
I agree. That'll be interesting. But you know what? That game to me is being slaughtered like some of these other games where a lot of people are picking Michigan, even though Oklahoma has a tremendous history past and they've been good the last couple of years. But it almost feels like Michigan, you're walking into Oklahoma land. Probably going to be 85, 90,000, most of them all for Oklahoma. Could they get mired in not getting a good start, and Oklahoma's hyped and gets it based on what we've seen in some of these other type of games? I would pick Michigan going in, I think, but I would not be shocked at all Oklahoma wins that and win it by a couple, 3 touchdowns.
Michigan opened as a 2.5-point dog in this game at Oklahoma.
Wow, now that surprises me because isn't Michigan ranked higher than Oklahoma?
Michigan's 14th and Oklahoma's 18th, but they haven't done a poll that's come out just yet. So, keep that.
And I say to the people, and it's a pet peeve that I know I shouldn't say it, but I will. You cannot favor a team or that's ranked lower than a team that's favored. I don't care they're playing at home. Michigan should be favored. Give them a 1-point favorite.
Why?
Again,
why should they be favored? No. Why? What
they're
is
a higher ranked team. Everybody says they're a better team, so they should be based on rankings, which don't mean much. They should be the team that is a favorite because they're a higher ranked.
No, they shouldn't because home field's worth 3 points. I disagree.
Yeah, I understand that, but no, because it's worth points if you're good. If you're a dog and you're at home and you're not good, you can get blasted by 45. If you're higher rated than your opponent, you should be the favorite team. At least give them a 1+1. That's
well. Phil Steele in his preseason top 40. We had Phil on. He had Oklahoma number 9 in his preseason top 40, number 2 most improved team. Had a young, banged-up O-line that was missing its top receivers last year. And Michigan, number 10. They lost 14 guys in the NFL, only lose 6 this year. And they have more experienced offensive talent. Bryce Underwood's an exciting talent at quarterback. The game to me is going to be, can Oklahoma's defense get the pressure on them? And I think they can for doses and win a 21-17 style of game. I had Miami winning by 4 tonight. They won by 3. So, hey.
You should have shackled it.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Should have shackled it.
Watch your mouth before we wash it out with soap. That's going to wrap it up. Just under 4 hours, and it was loads of fun, wasn't it?
I feel like we go another hour and a half.
You want to?
What are we going to talk about? We need some guests. Come on here, people.
Wants to go till
wide
midnight.
awake. I'm wide awake.
Wants to go till midnight. Well, unfortunately, Mr. Hatfield's got a niece that's still in the house until school starts on Tuesday and has to check on 2 pups. One of those pups.
You got to get them outside. You got to get them pups.
Yeah, they're going to, this one right here, he's been a bad dog. And you know what? Yellow is not always mellow. We've learned that. We have learned that in this house.
Well, the problem is you got him propped so high on the doggone couch, the doggone dog is scared as hell because if he rolls over, he's going to be like he's falling off the Empire State Building. Take all the pillows off of there and give him one.
That's the look. That's the look of a doggy who's been bad.
He's scared. If he rolls over, he's falling on the doggone floor, hitting his head.
No, he's been a bad puppy. This was fun. We hope you enjoyed the live Hatfield and Young cast for just under 4 hours. And for my partner, the disheveled Edward Vincent Young, I am one Matthew P, not PQ, but P Hatfield. McCurry used to call me PQ. I don't know why. Still haven't figured it out to this day where the Q came from.
You're a young whippersnapper. You're the whippersnapper.
Not a good Mercurio.
You and Zenny's a new.
And Leo Escabria. And Anwar Anzanar or something.
Yeah, all those guys, they were good dudes, man.
Good dudes. You met them? I never did.
I met them all.
Okay.
They were. It's almost like talking to yourself when you saw them, though. They were kind of quiet.
Tony was a lovable big guy, and I've always wondered as we sign off on this episode, how do you talk to a giant, Ned?
How do you talk to a giant? Very simple. You use big words.